felt the wind so.
Peace, peace. Welcome and greetings. Welcome to another enlightenment and transformation. Of course, it's late night, and we're doing our late segment. I just want to welcome all of you coming in from the chat, and all of you who will be coming in later from whatever mediums, whether it's Mixcloud or iTunes or whatever your podcasting platform is. Welcome. this month we've been dealing with the concept of the solstice, as it is fast approaching, and not that we're bowing down to any astronomical event, because as I've said previously, we're not necessarily here to worship nature, but here to help nature sustain itself and evolve itself. So, our work is it requires first understanding, before, just like when you have a student, and you're trying to teach them, before you can teach them anything, you have to get to know them. That has to be stop off number one. Get to know who it is that you're actually aiming and striving to help, and aiming and striving to teach. So once we're able to do that, then we can determine the best way to approach our work of teaching. So, we've been learning more about solstice and the different components of fire. Yesterday's segment, we just dealt with the simple concept of Solomon, and or Solomon, or the son of Amun, and really discussing that concept. And some people had reached out to me as a result of yesterday's show, and had expressed that they that they felt they enjoyed it. I guess maybe enjoy is not the best word, but they valued it, but still felt a little confused, as to this idea of the sun having a dualistic property, and I think, matter of fact, not even think, I know a lot of times it's difficult to come out of that way of thinking when we're totally stuck in, perceiving these different elements and whatnot in a way that we've been taught via, our different just systems or different ways of thinking, in terms of, like, when I say different systems, if you're always taught that the sun is that thing blazing up in the sky, then you'll never, or it's very difficult to get beyond that. Let's just say that it becomes very difficult to get beyond that. If that's always where you're at, the sun is this yellow thing, this hot thing in the sky, and that's what we've always been taught, and that's what it's always going to be. It's difficult to imagine when someone says, well, the sun is, is dark, it's black, or there's an unseen sun, that becomes hard to take on. And I get that, a lot of times what we're looking for in terms of our learning and our knowing, it has very little to do with what's being shared in terms of information, and it has more to do with what we internally motivate ourselves to do in terms of cleaning and bathing ourselves from some of the toxins of thought that takes us away from where we should be. So, I was having some conversations with a couple of people about that, and just kind of giving them some encouragement. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. So I say that to anyone else who I've not spoken to and still feels like, they're confused on some of these concepts. At the end of the day, some things we dive into and we jump into, they manifest for us at different times, like trees, plants, children. They come forth when they're ready to come forth, not when we always wanted to come forth. So sometimes, wisdom and knowledge presents itself in similar fashion, and that it makes itself revealed to us, at a time when we're ready for it to be revealed to us. So, just hang in there. I'm saying all of that to encourage those of you who have been writing and taking notes and really trying to make heads and tails of what you've been learning about and what you've been experiencing through this medium or any other, whether it be enlightenment, transformation, or whomever else you may be working with and trying to learn. And just hang in there, because we all have that cathartic moment where at some point things just start to work. They fall together if you're being taught something that is sensible. If you're being taught some garbage, then oftentimes that never comes together. You're staying confused forever. But if you're being taught something that there's certain paths within the analogies, and there's certain tracings of what's being shared with you, then it will, trust me, it's going to come together. I'll tell you this very simple thing. about divine information. Look at it like this, and this may be a little bit confusing too again, but just try it. Whatever it is that you're being taught, try to determine if at some point you can have it all stripped from you. And if you had it all stripped from you, and then you had to still try to learn how the mysteries and the profundities of life evolve themselves and prolong themselves, if you had to do that and you had to start all over again, would it be possible for you to come to similar conclusion? So, for example, let's make it real simple. Let's say if you're taught 1 + 1 equals 2, right? You just taught that 1 + 1 equals 2. Okay. So, and then let's say years from now, that idea is stripped. That 1 + 1, it's just taken out of your mind. You completely forget it. Or let's just say we're looking at 1,000 years from now, and no one's teaching 1 + 1 equals 2. If you saw one rock and another rock, and you took both of those rocks and put them together, could you then say that you have two rocks? You see? Or would you say, well, these rocks are together, they make one big family of rocks? I mean, we could play around with it, of course, if we wanted, but, ultimately, the keener truths that manifest themselves will pretty much, for the most part, always work. You will always be able to prove them in some shape, form, or fashion. It is the more abstract and maybe even fabricated and artful aspects of the mystery that becomes very difficult to prove later. It becomes very difficult to sustain, as time goes on. So I would just say that, as if you're taking in the good stuff, trust me, at some point it all kind of just comes together and starts to make sense. You just got to keep working the tools. You have to keep working the tools, and it will come together for you. It will. I promise. It will definitely come together for you. So, like I said, this month we've been dealing with, and hey, just let me know if you can hear me. Just give me something in the chat room, like a symbol. Don't give me an emoji. But just say I can hear you or something like that. I'm going to make sure, because something looks a little weird. So I want to make sure I could be heard. Well, there's definitely a delay. Clear, Chief. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So I can be heard. All right. So yeah, so just that concept, I've lost connection, Jamani. Okay. All right, everybody says they can't be. All right, cool. Something looked a little funny on my end, so I just wanted to make sure we were cool. But, yeah, just stick in there. So my pep talk is done. I'm not really one for pep talks. I just kind of like to talk the truth. So everything I'm saying is true. Outside of that, I don't really have much more for you. But yeah, trust me, man. There's a second mind. Just like when you look at the hierarchies of your spiritual entities, and you say, oh, we have archangels, we have just angels, and then we even have demiurges and things like that. And you see all these different hierarchies. Jamani, you should. Well, I guess she can't hear that there is audio. She probably needs to refresh her browser. Let me tell her. There is audio. Just typing that. Refresh your browser. Okay. So yeah, just like there's different rings and hierarchies of energies, some being hidden, some being manifested, your mind also works the same way. Because like I said, when you're looking at all of these different systems, you should essentially be looking at a mirror. So as you keep traveling the path and keep traveling, and sometimes in your travels, you have to move yourself beyond those things that are visible to your senses. There'll be a moment where you're going to kind of walk in the dark for a little while, but you're still on the path. You're going to keep walking. And through that journey through the dark, eventually you end up in another plateau, at another space. You see, so there's many people who don't have the metal to push through. They don't have that burn where they say, you know what, even though maybe I'm giving up some of my foundations, maybe I'm giving up some of my knowings, or I'm having trouble tracing some of the things that I'm trying to learn now. Sure, you're more than welcome, sister. Um, I'm having trouble tracing some of the things right now that I want to learn. You know, even though that may be your reality, you'll find that if you keep pushing, you know, with the knowing, you will reach another plateau. All right. So one of the things that we were talking about with the sun, we were talking about Solomon, and we were talking about the darker sun, you know, or the real sun that exists behind it. You know, and like I was saying, well, that's really the real sun. It's the unseen that becomes real, or the hidden. And what we see as manifested is really a lesser form, you know. And usually, what is unseen represents the eternal aspect of something. What's seen is, you know, is temporal. You know, almost like a feeling. You know, you can have a feeling that you've had your entire life, and it can be based off of an incident that happened one time. You see, so just like you may have a sun, physical sun that expresses itself and becomes visible to our senses, but there's a hidden sun that also exists that is the center of that sun's own intellectual power. You know, so just like you have a mind and then you have a brain, and your mind is really the center of your brain's intellectual power. You know, your brain is being controlled by your higher self, or at least it should be, unless you're functioning like an animal. You see, and I want you to understand when I say animal, from your lower nature, all right? Because I don't want to disrespect the animal kingdom, all right? But so there's an aspect of hidden, and there's an aspect of manifested. There's a aspect of that which is conceived, and there's an aspect which some of us, which we fail to conceive, which we fail to understand, which we fail to recognize, you know. And being conscious, like when we say I'm conscious, I'm woke, you know, or I'm awakened, essentially we're just saying that I've conceived of that which is unseen. That's really all it is. And that's what I said, everyone's conscious on different levels. You know, some of us see more, some of us see less. But some of us are sensible to the intangible, and some of us maybe are more sensible to that which has made itself manifest. So, but when you're working into that immaterial space that we're speaking about, like the immaterial sun, you know, which is like the soul of the sun, it's the source of it. You know, you're speaking about something that's more long standing. You know, it's older, and most likely will be around much longer. So what we see manifested only represents a demonstration. You know, it's like when you dance, and I'm just breaking this down. I know a lot of you probably already understand this, all right? But I'm breaking this down again in another kind of way for those who are still struggling with some of these concepts. When you're happy, or when you're sad, or any feeling that may move throughout your system, often there is an expression, an outward expression that shoots outward from you to kind of show what it is that you're feeling inside. So that outward expression is really, it's what we can sense and what we can perceive from a tangible perspective. It becomes a material expression of what it is that you're feeling on your immaterial plane, or on your unseen plane. So if a person says that they're happy, we can't really see happy until happy manifests itself. If you say you're sad, we don't see it until it manifests itself, whether it be through your auric body, the energy that you're giving off, or whether it be through a smile, or through a frown, or through a song, or through behavior, or whatever it is. But we see it when it sends itself outward, right? So it's the same thing with the sun. Okay, or the conceivable sun. And I say conceivable. Some of us conceive of the hidden sun, as we also conceive of the manifested sun. So it's just, it depends when we say conceive, of course. You know, it's like some of us look at money. We look at a dollar bill, a U.S. dollar, and we'll see the wand, the occultism in it, and some of us just see something that we can use to go to a dollar menu at a fast food restaurant with. But there's a higher intellectual power that exists in that which is unseen. So when we're seeing a manifestation of the physical sun, or that which you can see, right? You're seeing tracings of what that unseen is expressing. So one of the things that you see is there's a flexibility there. It's moving, it's dynamic, it's it changes in terms of different things, but you're seeing the corruptible aspect. You're seeing the part that changes and ages and grows, and all of those things represent corruption. But then we have what's called the Holy Sun. The Holy Sun, which I know almost feels and seems redundant. Holy, and it's different. There's different places you can take holy. Holy, of course, you have halo, which of course you have again that like halal. We were speaking about that recently. But holy connects itself to Helios at time, sun. And then at other times it connects itself to hallowed, which is very similar anyway. And hallowed really represents that light. That's why when we say like Halloween, to wean something is to extract it. Like you wean someone off of TV, or you wean a baby off of the bottle, and things like that. So you're pulling and taking it out of something. So when we have holy wean or hallows wean, we're weaning, we're taking out that which is light, we're taking out that which is holy in that sense. So again, you have that idea of a corruptible fire and then an incorruptible fire. You see, a corruptible emotion and an incorruptible emotion. An inflexible state of being, and which is also can be relentless, and then another state of being which can be manipulated and which can be changed, and so forth and so on. So there's always like an intermixing and a duality that exists between the corruptible and the incorruptible, the righteous and the ratchet, if you will. So you want to look at all of these different elements that we're speaking about. And again, for those of you coming in later, I'm just kind of giving a little extra background, because there was, like I said, a couple people have expressed, well, I'm still struggling with this idea of the sun and what this is, and what do you mean when you say like there's a real sun and then there's a demiurge, and so I'm just giving you an idea of just duality. How duality works, how, even we represent a measure of duality in that. Like right now, as I'm speaking, I'm expressing ideas, but you can't see my ideas. You can't feel my ideas. You can't sense even my ideas. They're intangible. So there's an expression of something that is tangible. My words become an intangible and material manifestation, because they are glorifying the hidden intelligence, which is the idea that's hidden, you see. So it gives you something to attach yourself to in that sense. It creates a form where there was no form. So that which is formless creates, form. Form comes out of the formlessness. An image or even a voice, comes out of something that had no shape, or was formless, or was even motionless to some degree, right? But we were unable to conceive it. It was like a secret almost, in that sense. So you have the formless aspects of fire, and then you have the formed aspects of fire. Just like you have formless ideas, you have formless thoughts, and then you have those which have been formed into thoughts and ideas that people can perceive. They can conceive of them. And the more you form it, the more you condense it, the more people can understand it. So it's very similar to sometimes when we look at what has happened with fashion and music and things like that. I know I use music as an example for a lot of things, but it's just very accessible. Just like I'll use sex a lot because it's very accessible. Most people like music, most. I have met some people who don't like music, but most like music, and at least if they don't like music, they probably like sex, or vice versa. But most have had sex, so I'll often use those two experiences and activities to draw an example from, because it's just like I said, it's accessible, it's easy. If I start talking about, well, when you're doing this type of reading or you're doing this type of work, you may not do those type of things, or you're doing this type of ritual, you may say, well, I've never done a ritual, so I don't know what you're talking about. So I always try to focus on the rituals that most people have done. It just makes things a little easier instead of prolonging the point beyond where it should be. But again, so there's always that duality. So, like I said, I'm just kind of tightening up some of the definitions for people who are having a little bit of trouble with them and, latching onto them. But, like even when you hear me say a thought or a voice or an idea can be formed, the further we go into trying to form it and make it so that it's understandable to the human brain, the more we pull away from its eternal aspect. You see, the more we pull away from it, it's almost like looking at a symbol. If you look at a symbol and leave it without judgment or without false piety, and you allow it to be preserved in its own form, then it will speak more to you. It will speak volumes, and for a much longer time, as opposed to when you try to corral it in and channel it in, so that people can understand its sections or its intellectual parts. You see, then it becomes temporal in that sense. That's why I always tell you, when you're studying, especially archetypes, don't always just say like, hey, well, that's just this and this is just that. Because see, in that sense, you're corralling things in. You're channeling things into a certain way, and you'll never get anywhere like that. You see, because the eternal presentation of what that thing could be will never be, because of how you just channeled things in. You see, so the further you go into having to explain, this is why sometimes when you guys ask me questions, I don't answer them, because if I spoon feed it to you or explain too much of it, I actually channel it in too much. I cut it off from the fullness of what it should and what it could be. So some things are allowed to stay a mystery to you, and then maybe we'll graduate from mystery to secret. But not all secrets are always meant to be shared. Always. Mysteries, are purposeful clouding. But secrets we do share at some point. But sometimes a person has to take that occasion to travel and explore themselves and sit back and look at the symbol or look at the word or look at what is seemingly inconceivable, and discover their own examples and their own analogies and the own things that they can pick up on for themselves. You see, they have to be brave enough to venture into that, as opposed to, well, it's just that, asking a lot of questions. Asking a lot of questions. A lot of times the questions are not nearly as valid as you may think they are. Sometimes I don't answer questions because your question will do nothing but confuse you further, because you're not asking the right question. And I know that may seem very arrogant, but I don't mean to make it sound that way. Trust me, it's to teach you. Sometimes your question will lock you off. Like you may say, well, is the sun basically just Horus, right? You may see something like that. Now, of course, I know that question doesn't really make sense, but people ask questions like that. Like they'll say, is Yemoja just basically the salt water, right? And I won't answer a question like that. I'll say, what do you mean? Now I know what they mean, but I'll say, what do you mean? Because in asking what they mean, they go back into that perpetual place that keeps spinning them into a way of thinking that doesn't work for them, that redirects their spirit away from their soul. You know, so I'll say, what do you mean? What do you mean? And make them go back down the pathways to illustrate their own process of thinking. And in doing that, their mind opens up. You see, that's the key. So some of the things that you may hear me talking about on these segments, I'll break them down a little bit, like I just did, to give you a little bit of extra to help those who are maybe struggling a little bit with the ideas. But you have to become a participant in this light journey. That's the key. You have to become a participant in the journey. But to sit back and lean back and think that you have a vending machine, I can't even say a vending machine because it's not like you're putting any currency in, but you have this person, you just ask any question that comes to mind, and get an answer that's going to improve your life. That's not the way it happens. That's not the way it happens. Sometimes you just need to expose yourself to certain symbols, certain sounds, certain smells, certain energy, certain kinds of people, and be silent, be receptive, allow your luminant body to come forth and absorb the characteristics of those quote unquote gods or those deities, and allow your ego to be led up to the sacrificial fire of those archetypes. You see, now, of course, I'm speaking about fire for a reason. When you allow yourself to be filled with that light and you become receptive, then you go closer to it, because fire raises up fire. You see, more fire brings more fire. It raises it up, and it begins to dance with each other. You see, and it's like a cyclical, cycle and spherical thing that happens with fire, where it pulls itself down, then it pulls itself forward, it flips over, it backflips, it flips to the side, it dances. So you start to see that there's a dance of the divine. There's a dance of these essence that we see as being essential and celestial. So sometimes you have to hit the dance floor, like I said, and become a participant. And when you start to become more of a participant and getting more into it, you start to understand those incorporeal aspects. The incorporeal, the aspects that live outside of your body, that live outside of your material essence, and allows you to free yourself from the cage of generated existence. Because that's what you need to do sometimes. You need to get out of your own creation. Get out of your own created existence. You see, and that's what the sun does when it goes in and out, in and out. Even when you read the Quran, it tells you about the sun, how the sun folds in on itself. You see, that's in the Quran. Not necessarily a book of science, I guess one would say, but characteristically, if you look at many quote unquote holy books, you'll find a lot of science in them, even though it may seem like an alien mixture. But when you allow your consciousness to really go free and you set it free, you'll find that there's latent information almost any and everywhere that kind of tells you how the world works. Gets you out of your institutionalized ignorance. So even in the Quran saying, that the sun folds in on itself, it's that same idea of the separating of the material to go and fold back into the non-material, allowing itself to conclude itself and its non-material. This is where we get the idea of purification of fire. Fire has the bravery and the courage to go back into the non-material, very similar to our Shango energy. It's a Shango directly relates to the ancestors. And that's the Shango that we usually pull for from courage, because it's the fire Shango that, goes into this whirlwind and goes into the place of dead souls, as they call it, this the Egungun realm. And it does so with courage, and then comes back out. You see, having that courage is the key. I know so many people who feel broken, who come to me and ask certain questions about, what they can do to be right. And I say, well, listen, everything I speak about, from every single segment I do, from every book I've written to every class I present, is about you getting right. And I'll say, have you been working on the classes? Have you been listening to the shows? No, I haven't done any of that. Isn't it just like, is there a ritual you can give me? Because I just feel like I can't get in gear. No, you can, you won't. You see? Because the doing, you don't want to be that supreme aspect of yourself. You want to focus in on more of the essence of what you are. You see, and then you start to redefine the essence of what you are. Well, I'm like this and I'm like that, and I'm unmotivated and I procrastinate and this, that. But sometimes you have to separate again from that generated creation in order to go to that supreme place. See, that's the sacrifice, where we say, throw the virgins in the sacrificial fire. We light a sacrificial fire to our God. You see, that's what we're talking about. That's what the fire represents. The fire is it's the sacrificial fire, So when we're looking at the solar aspects of fire, like I said, we're looking at the sun and everything like that. Essentially, the sun that you're seeing is a symbol, and it should be regarded, with all of its implications to symbology. Like I said previously, the sun is a shrine or an altar. Let's look at it like that. Because remember, fire builds upon fire. So you have a manifested fire, and then you have a holy fire or pure fire. So the manifested fire that you perceive, that you can enjoy, and you can see it as practical points and practical steps to, going into a higher place, it will lead you up to the unseen fire. The light will lead you into the dark. Okay? Because the dark is, again, where we recharge. Just think about it. Isn't that what you do at night? You go where? You go into the dark. You lay down. You become still. You change your polarity. You go flat. You sit in the dark and you become whole again. You recharge. And then you wake up in the dawning and you say, oh, Lord, I feel so much better after a good night's sleep. You see? It's no different here. So when you're sleeping in a dark room, you're still you, right? But you're just experiencing another aspect of you where, that melatonin is really kicking in that aspect, You're experiencing a different aspect, Yes, Jesus loved me just said, the sun is so amazing, I'm honored to see it every day. Well, interesting enough, in our Kabbalah, we have the Sephiroth of Tifereth, symbolized by the sun. Or I should say, I could say that. The symbol of the sun lives within the Sephiroth of Tifereth. And Tifereth, is many as you probably know who know Kabbalah, means beauty. So again, it represents the aspect that, the beauty aspect. It's the boundless, or it's the boundless aspects of information that becomes beautiful, or the boundless aspects of light, the boundless aspects of illumination that represent the beauty. But again, it's a symbol. Now, why is it boundless? Because it's obedient to its natural interplay between light and dark or masculine and feminine. So it always has that dark to pull from every time, you know. It's always going and getting a good night's sleep in a sense, right? There's so much to that, and I'm willing, I will that I'm not confusing anyone further. I'm breaking this thing down from different angles because if you don't understand the basic aspects of the sun, it will be very difficult for you to, I would say, in my opinion, really engage and interact with a solstice or a whole lot of other things that deal with light and deal with the aspects of ever living and ion and and just like I said, the holy fire, and it would be very difficult to understand that. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of going over this, and I want to make sure that you all get it. Brother Mark says, Dath, asking a question. Actually, before I answer your question, let me go through any other, because I saw some other question marks. Sister Jamani said, are you speaking about auras? I think that was early when I was speaking about what we give off. So I was speaking about the sun, but if you're asking about the things that I was saying that we give off a lot of times that display our mood, then yeah, that would be like your auric body as well. Not just smiling, and things like that, like I was saying, but your aura gives evidence as to where you're at and sometimes even what you're thinking or what you're feeling. So yeah, aura would fit in there as well, in that sense. Aura would fit in there. So Brother Mark asked about the relationship between Tifereth and Dath, right? So, in many senses, well, let me go to his question. He said, Dath is darkness of the sun, Tifereth. You can look at it like that, absolutely, because the darkness of the sun or Tifereth, is essentially the gateway. You see, so you really don't get any real. I don't want to say real because that would be disrespectful to a degree, but you don't really get the juicier. You don't really get the juicier information or the juicier knowledge until you go through the dark. You see, and then you go to the other side of the tree with what they call the clip off. So where you have Tifereth, and even if you look at a tree of life, I'm going by, I'm answering your question further. Of course you have, above the tree you have Ein, and Ein Sof, and Ein is really Anu, but that's another conversation. Anytime you see that A-N on, you're dealing with that Anu aspect. So that unseen, that heavenly aspect that exists above the crown, the crown, excuse me. But like you said, you have Tifereth there. Well, even if you look at the geometry in a sense of what we're told Tifereth and whatnot is, you find, okay, your name is pronounced Gemini. No, it's not. It's not rude. She says, and not to be rude, but my name is pronounced Gemini. It's spelled it's spelled Gemini, but okay, but it's pronounced Gemini. Okay, no, that's not rude. Thank you for letting me know, because I know I stumble over it every time I say your name, every time you're in the chat. So I do appreciate that, because that way I'm not disrespecting your title, and I'm not stumbling over it. So no, you're not being rude at all. I usually ask people if I'm saying that right. Let me know. I think I probably asked you the first time. I probably didn't get a response, so I figured I was rocking. I'm good. I guess I wasn't. Gemini. All right. And you know how crazy Geminis are, so that's why we're gonna keep her calm. All right. So anyway, So to go to your question, brother Mark. Yeah. So like how Kether relates to Yesod, or really Kether relates to Malkut. You have that balance between what is the crown and what is the kingdom. You also would have, if you even look at it, what I'm saying geometrically, even when you see where Darth is, yeah, you're in Aquarius, but your name is Gemini, so the confusion abounds. Okay, but so where we have Darth there, right? I'm just answering what she put in the chat. You know, I address all beef, no matter how big or small. I don't turn down a rap battle. But no, so even when you have Darth there, you can kind of look at the tree and it looks like something's missing. It's a big open space right there. So yeah, there is a relation uh, between Darth and Tifereth in that sense. There is a relationship there between what's seen and what's unseen. Because if you look at Brother Mark, the straight path, of course, there's a straight path between Malkut, Yesod, Tifereth, Doth, and Kether, right? That would be your straight line going from the bottom of the tree to the top of the tree. Now, for those of you who are confused right now, the way that you can unconfuse yourself is if you actually look at a tree. If you pull up an image of the tree of life, if you have the ability, sometimes y'all are confused because you're making things harder on yourself than need be. Don't be afraid to pull up images and stuff. And when I'm talking about things, you may even notice when I bring up certain concepts or ideas, I'll even start to speak a little slower. And that's to give you an opportunity to look them up if you so choose. You see? So, hint, hint. That's what I'm doing right now. You yeah, so you'll see again that straight line, going there. Now I don't have a tree in front of me, but I know the tree. So I've been looking at this thing since I don't know when. I've been looking at the tree of life since I had two lines cut in my eyebrow. So yeah, so it's old hack now. But at the bottom again, you got Malkuth found, the kingdom, and then you have Yesod going up to Tifereth, going up to Kether, and you got that big space in between where you have that cross pike, between Shin and between Alf, right? Yeah, between Shin and Alf. Those are going on the horizontal. It should be on a horizontal. All right. And then you have Darth there in the middle, So it kind of, if you look at it, you can kind of see it looks like something should be there. It looks like something is missing, in that sense when you're looking at the tree, right? So yeah, you're kind of seeing when you see that straight line. One of the things about the tree of life that you never want to ignore, you never want to ignore the sacred geometry of it all. That's the key. Don't just bounce around and look at the different, Sephiroth and say, "Oh, I got it." You don't want to do that. You'll end up missing a lot of information that you're supposed to have. You want to also look at the sacred geometry of it all. What lines up where and what shape is formed, because everything that's there is there for a reason. There's nothing that doesn't have a specific and an important connection to it in that sense. So, like I said, if you look at the geometry of it all, and you see that the off is in the center there, which is really representing moving outside of the dimensions of time, because everything that's on the front of that tree is apparent. So all of those things are still functioning and working with a sequence. It's still telling you, do this, do that, do that, do that, right? Yes, Gemini. She said, yeah, it looks like the pyramids, kind of. Yeah, don't even throw that kind in there. It does. If you noticed it, yeah, pick up, go with it. Go with it. Yeah, you got something. So yeah, there's pyramids. There's cubes in there. All those shapes mean something. They all mean something. So, um, yeah, and a lot of triangles. Well, triangles are key. Triangles are key. You'll want to pay close attention to the triangles. If you want to learn more about the sacredness of triangles, man, learn about the Moors. I know we always go back to the Moors, right? And I'm not saying the Moors were the end all be all. I know a lot of people teach from that perspective that if it wasn't for the Moors, I guess we can say that. If it wasn't for the Moors, some of us wouldn't be here today. I guess there's different ways to interpret that. But yeah, I know some people look at the Moors as the end all be all, but they did bring a lot of the ancient information. They did kind of germinate the world with it, But when you're looking at the tree, you want to look at like the geometry. So going back to what the brother was asking in terms of with the relationship of Tifereth, or really representing the heart of things, and the relationship of that to Oth. You're looking at the heart's relationship to quantum timelessness, essentially. So, when you go into the Oth, you're going into a place with that other side of the tree, or the dark side of the tree, where time is gone. Time is no more. Remember, the masculine vibration is time. The feminine vibration is space. Okay, so when you go through the dark aspects, or Dath, which is really going into the dark corruption, the power. Anytime you're going into the feminine aspect, you're going into the concept of space. You see, you're going into the concept of space. So it takes you out of time, which is really taking you into the realm of the deities, to be honest with you. That's where it's taking you. But you don't just want to look at the relationship between, okay, well, Yesod to Tifereth to the Oth to Kether. You can, but you don't just want to look at that. But you also want to look at the relationship between all of those other energies that are existing around the Oth, or existing around that hidden Sephiroth, if you will, and there's even a crossing, of energies right there. Just like there's a crossing at Tifereth, there's a crossing at the Oth. So at Tifereth, and the reason I'm slowing down because I'm picturing this in my head as I'm talking, so making sure I get this right. But at the crossing of Tifereth, you have certain paths that are leading in, or we could say leading out of Tifereth. And of course, Tifereth is centered into this. That's how we know it really represents the heart. But it's centered in between Hod, Netzah, Hesed, and Gevurah. Okay, which kind of create a square or a rectangle, and then in the center of that you have Tifereth, and Tifereth directly connects to those Sephiroth through those particular paths, like Yud and Tet and Het, and I think the last one is Sadi. I could be wrong on that one. All right, so anybody who has it up, you can correct me on that one. But you have those four connecting paths there, coming off of each side. And with the Oth, you also have connecting paths. So that's how you really want to look at it. You want to look at not just the connection of the Sephiroth to Sephiroth. That's important, don't get me wrong. But you also want to look at the connection of the intersecting lines to the Sephiroth. That's important too. Like if you're counting Sephiroth, right? First would be Kether, Chokmah, Bina, Hesed, Gevurath, Tiferoth, Netzah, Hod, Yesod, and Malkuth, right? But you notice to go from Gevurah to Netzah, you have to pass through Tifereth. So to go from 5 to 7, of course, you have to pass through 6. Tifereth is the 6th Sephiroth. But as long as you have that hidden aspect of the off, you almost think you're going using the path of kuf. You think you're just going from bina to hesed, right? Because you're ignoring the fact that no, the off is right in the middle. So you realize you're actually going from bina to Dath to hesed. You see, just like you go from Gevurah to Tifereth to Netzah. That's important because we're talking about the paths to doing things and and getting things done. So we're going from Bina, we're going from understanding to timelessness to compassion. You see, that's the path. In order to, so that's what I'm saying. You're looking at, when you look at all of these different things, you should be looking at your mind, or you are looking at your mind. But you should realize you're looking at a mirror. When you look at the tree of life, you should be able to say, "Oh, that's how I think." And if it's not how you think, then you got to tighten some things up. Let you know where you need to tighten up. So if you say, "Man, I really understand where people are and da 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 da," and I want to start having. Oh, come on with the phone. Excuse me one second. Let me just mute this. See what that was about. Oh. Huh. I haven't heard from that person in a while, so I know something's wrong. But anyway, so you may say, yeah, I got all this understanding. I really understand people and understand myself. And, I feel great compassion for them. I feel all this compassion, but in order to transition in your mind to go from those different places of compassion, from understanding to compassion, you see, because sometimes we ignore the process, like we'll because we mystify things all the time. So we say, I really have a lot of compassion for people. I care about people. But then when people talk to you, you don't listen. You don't seek to understand them. So then we know it's not really compassion. So we can deduce things very quickly by looking at the natural path, the natural movement of a healthy mind. Now, can people go different ways? Like, could you go to, let's see, like, could you go to understanding, then move to strength, and then jump over to compassion? Yeah, you could. But the natural movement, because we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The natural movement where you would go from 3 to 4 would force you to pass through the unknown, would force you to pass through the Av, which starts to give you an understanding of Oya supremacy in that sense. So Mark says, Tifereth of Asaya is the Malkuth of Yetzirah. Dath of Asaya is your sort of Yetzirah. Yeah. Yeah, so he's talking about the paths. Again, if you don't have the you probably want to put, a chart in front of you real quick, just to kind of, it's not hard to memorize the tree of life. It's not I thought it was a much bigger deal years ago when I was starting out. I thought it was a much bigger deal, and so I really took a lot of time to really learn it and learn the different paths and the shapes of the letters, and the Hebrew alphabet and things. And it is a big deal. I'm not downgrading anything like that, but I thought, man, after I learn this, I'm gonna be, brilliant. And it really just shows you how the mind works, and it contains so much information and so much knowledge, and then you get into the geometry of it, and like Brother Lowe said, you get into the triangles. Why are there so many doggone triangles? Well, it's like the Moors, when they built in Granada, excuse me. Look at the form, the mean that they used to build their buildings. It would tell you something about the sacredness of that triangle and what can be built off of a triangle. Let's say Gemini says, I can visualize what you're saying, but I don't know what this means because my chart is with Cometian gods. Well, have to give you a little something, Gemini. A lot of those associations that people make, I've seen the ones with the Kemetic gods. I'm not going to say who did them and who didn't do them, so we're not going to bring up any names. I know the one you're probably looking at, though. A lot of them are wrong. I've seen them with Kemetic deities. I've seen them with the Risha. I mean, I've seen them with a lot of different things. I mean, people take the tree of life and they and they really run with it, because like I said, like a lot of times people want to make something theirs. So they want to come from an angle that they feel that no one else has ever come from again. So they just really just start making things up, and that's what it really is. They just start making things up. And if you don't know, like if you haven't really studied the Kemetic deities, you won't know that. No, that wouldn't go there. That doesn't even make sense, Or again, if you haven't really studied Orisha, at a maybe a more intense level, then you might look at it and say, okay, well, I can see that. Sure, that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, you can make anything, you know. So I know the thing is, and who's to say who's right or wrong, right? Yeah, well, I guess you could say that, but you may throw yourself off a little bit more. When before you learn a new style, learn the basics first. It's the same thing in anything, man. Before you jump to the abstract, learn the basics of it first. Learn what those words mean when you hear Bina and Chokma and Hesed and Netzah and Yesod and all these different words and Ruach. You start learning about the Ruach and all these different things. Learn what those words mean. It won't take you very long. It won't take you long. Within 1 month, you could at least have all of those terms and notes written out on each one of them. So that way now, when you see those comparisons, it will make a little bit more sense to you, and then plus when people are saying the names, like how I'm saying the names out loud, you won't get lost, of course, because you would have kind of put that time into it, yeah. So I would just suggest that. And again, I'm not trying to knock anybody's tree of life. There's a lot of them, and I'm not trying to say that any tree of life that I put up is a supreme tree of life, anything like that. But I'm just saying, as teacher to students, just out of my care and concern for your own growth and development, be careful, because a lot of that stuff that you get out there is wrong. A lot of the information is off, straight up. And again, I'm not speaking about anyone specifically. I'm not. All right. So don't look at your tree of life and say, oh, Chief Yuya told me this was no good, and then go post that on Facebook. All right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, learn the basics of things first, learn what the Metatron is, or the Archangel Metatron. Learn who Raziel is, who Mikael is, who Chameliel is, Haniel, who Gabriel is. Learn these different energies first. It will really help you. I'm telling you. And it's not taking you away from your studies in anything. It's not taking you away from anything. She says, I know who wrote the book, so I can ask questions directly, but I haven't yet. Well, you could, but hopefully what they put up there is correct. You know what I mean? Hopefully what they have in that book is correct, because if not, they're just going to repeat the same thing over again. And I'm going to say this. If somebody gave you a book, or if somebody wrote a book, and they're connecting the Kemetic deities to the Kabbalah tree of life, which is nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. They probably should have given you different versions of that tree, so you could actually look at it comparatively. So I don't know. You do your thing. I don't like getting in the middle of that type of stuff. But I would just say, start with the basics. She said, I've been wanting to really get into these books, but it's too advanced right now. I need to go back to basics. Probably. And then you need to ask yourself why you want to learn it. What do you even need it for? What are you going to do with it? Maybe you don't need it. Maybe it's not that it's so advanced. Maybe it's just something that you just don't need right now. So sometimes you have to pull back and look at what's really relevant. If I wasn't supposed to be teaching these things, I wouldn't have learned a quarter of the things that I actually know. I really wouldn't have. I'll be honest with you. Um, the majority of what I know is for teaching purposes. Of course, now I get into practical application because it's just my own personality, the way I am. I'm not big on theory. Don't just give me a theory and tell me that's what it is. I need to be able to prove those things. And I need to be able to throw your theory out, toss it out, and then prove it and try it and see if it works again. That's the type of student I am. I may not say that to your face, but that's the type of student that I am. If you tell me that the Kabbalistic tree of life is a map to the mind, then I'm going to get rid of the Kabbalistic tree of life, and then I'm going to map the mind, and then I'm going to study the Kabbalistic tree of life, and then see if I'm understanding it, as opposed to just me saying, "Oh, this is how my mind works." Now, that's just me. Now, everybody ain't got time for all of that. I get it, but yeah, that's just what it is. So, no big deal. Let's see. Oh, you're more than welcome. Yes, Jesus loves me. This I know, because for the Bible tells me so. You're more than welcome. Yeah, Lo, you spelled that wrong. He said Ruck. Nah, is that a video game character? Ruach. Justin says, our new spiritual training one mentions getting into the Kabbalah. It does more than mention it. I get into the Kabbalah. I'm overdue. The tree of life reminds me of a fly swatter with fidget spinners on it. LOL. Okay, I don't know what fidget spinners are. Kabbalah, the Heart of Jewish Mysticism, is a book I grabbed a few years back but haven't read it. Kabbalah seems complex. No, not at all. I mean, it could get complex. Anything can get complex. But no, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say that it's I think sometimes what makes things complex is our not understanding the culture out of which things are birthed. So they seem more complicated. Like, when I first got into indigenous sciences, the econ sciences were very complex for me. When I started learning about the abosom, it was very hard for me because tree was a very difficult language for me, initially. Now, I mean, I'm moving and grooving in tree, now, but that's from spending so much time in Ghana, like literally living in Ghana, then it made sense. Then tree was like, oh, this is way easier than Yoruba, but initially it was very hard. It seem very complex because the words were so doggone long. Nanan intonomphone. I'm like, whoa. What's the shortened version? The words were so long, and because the word tree itself, the tree language is spelled TWI, but it's spelled, it's pronounced tree. The word tree means to stretch. So that's why, when you look at the words are stretched out, etisane, instead of infante, it would just be hoteden, wapome, mehoye, easy. And tree is everything is stretched out, and that whole tone and that whole cadence and vibration, it was very difficult for me at first, coming with this Western tongue. And when I first started learning tree and I first started learning about the econ systems, it wasn't on a continent. It was here in the States. So that made it even harder, because the people who were teaching me were, they're speaking English and speaking tree. And I'm like, I can't get into it. And the Yoruba was more intuitive to me. I jumped to the Yoruba a lot quicker. So what kept me initially from a con, because I would have been an Akan priest, because I definitely enjoy the Akan community a lot more than I do the Orisha and Ifa community. I ain't gonna lie about that. I like how they deal with each other and how they deal with outsiders. I really like how they get down in that sense, you know. But the language, I couldn't wrap my head around language. So it's the same thing, like what you said about the Kabbalah is no, it's not necessarily complicated, but sometimes you have to get a feel for the culture and the language to really get a feel for what's being said in a sense, or you know um learn some of the basics of some of the words, like why do I always see L behind certain words and things like that, and you know don't immediately associate it with the Bible or what you may perceive to be as a Jew, because that same tree of life, and it goes beyond the tree of life. I mean, but that same tree of life was in Walls and Kemet. So, you know, it's your stuff. All right, let's see. Mama Sadaka is breaking it down. Let's see what she has here. She says, as I look at the tree of life, I see the connections created through triangles and cubes, but I'm also seeing circular connections. Yep, absolutely. Paths that includes the unseen of Bina to Da'ath, Chokma, then Da'ath through Geburah. Yeah, Chokma to Da'ath to God. Yep. Da'ath through Geburah, hold Yesod Nadzak, Chesod then Da'ath, and another from Kether to Bina, Geburah, Tifereth, Chesed, Chokma to Kether, etc. If that makes sense. It makes sense, but you know what? If people are not looking at that tree with everything I just read, sounds like complete craziness. So if you look at what she wrote and then you look at the tree, it'll make sense to you. Yeah, there are different, like you said, Yesod to let me see, Yesod to, I got a picture in my head. Yesod to Tifereth, Dath to Kether. Yeah, that's a path. Well, really starting at Malkuth. So there's many different ways to reach many different conclusions, essentially. And you start to see that no matter where you begin on that tree, you can get to where you're supposed to go, right? But you're just going to have to take different paths. That's all, And the combinations of different paths, will give you the combination or the different influences on your particular life journey. You see, so that's what I always tell you. That's what I always look at that Lowe's comment. Lowe said, "I know, right? I feel like I need a protractor for this." Oh, come on, man! Y'all could do this. Y'all could do this. Come on now. This is not hard, man. I have taught you much harder things than this. This is not difficult. Y'all can learn Kabbalah. It sounds like you're speaking another language. I am. This is not hard. Especially because it's so visual in some senses. But you know what you have to do to really, I'll give you the hint to learn Kabbalah. Try to stick to the mathematics of it primarily. When you're looking at the numbers that are associated with these different paths and stuff, you're looking at the formation of certain mathematical values to create formulas. A lot of times we look at math as just like, for cumularization, processes, or just commerce processes. We don't really look at it, in terms of each word or each letter unlocks a different formula. So when you're studying Kabbalah, you want to start with the smallest thing and then build out from there. Like, you don't have to look at the whole tree and say, I got to learn this tree. Start with one thing. You may just start with Kether, crown, Metatron, and you'll say, okay, that's number one, right? That's the first Sephiroth. So then you may take some time to really learn about where everywhere where you'll find that one. You see? So let's look at one even in the sense of the alphabet. So you might say, okay, well, what's the first letter of the Hebraic alphabet? Alf. A. Okay, well, and you'll just start playing with that. You'll just start going to different places in your mind with that one. You see? Yeah. See, Mark says it's only 10 words. It is only 10 words, but those 10 words open up to so many other mysteries. So I understand why it would be complicated for them. But if you start with one thing, it will give you rhyme and reason as to why they're saying other things. I say it all the time, but I don't think you guys believe me. I think you think I'm playing when I say when I say that. I think you think I'm playing with you. But if you just want to start with one, just start there, the number one. You can stay on that for a month if you want it. All the things associated with the number one, or all the things associated with Kether. Kether is the crown. Okay, well, the crown. What is a crown? And just keep going with it, playing with it. Then go to the next one. So like when you hear me say that I've been doing this work for what is it, 27 years now, something like that. And it's funny, I was speaking to an elder today, and they were reminding me of something that I was doing when I was like 14. It's so interesting what elders see, man. Never second guess them. And he was saying, man, I remember when you were around 14. He was saying through the years of 14 to 18. What was the term he used? He said something about, basically, he saw the greatest fertility in me in terms of what I am today. He said everything that you do today, I saw when you've been doing that since around the ages of 14 and 18. He took it way back. I didn't remember. I'm counting the years, but back then too. And he was like, yeah, some of the things you were doing musically and the way you used to rip apart certain books and things like that. So, a lot of times I'm bringing that up to say, man, sometimes it's not an overnight thing. You may take 1 year, like he was telling, the ages he was giving me as far as when I started learning are even sooner than I thought. Because when I give you that 27 years, I'm counting when I actually started serving the public. Like when I started going out and doing speeches and lectures and workshops and things like that. But he was going back and saying there was things even when you were, very, very young, a preteen, I saw you do, and things like that. So I even forgot how long some of this stuff took to soak in. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing I'm saying to you. Like, just take one thing, man. You don't need everything. Take one thing. And the one thing will teach you about many things. You see, it's just like when we learn to the 256 Odu. You don't just learn 256 Odu. You might only learn your Odu that you received at your Itefa. Or you may only learn one Odu. And then after that, you may graduate, especially if you're casting Meridin Logun, 16 calories. Then you might learn, 16 Odu, the primordial 16 Odu, which is slightly different, even in name, what we call them when we're working with Meridin Logun. So you might just learn those, and you could be on that for a lifetime. You see? So it's not really about learning the whole tree. It's about just integrating and, like I said, participating in that light process of what the tree is. That's what it's about. That's what you want to get into. Man, don't worry about mastering stuff. Just get in it, man. Get in the game. Get in the game. That's the key. Sometimes there's so many different things, like Brother Mark was mentioning earlier when he was talking about Azia. I think he was, if I'm not mistaken. I had to scroll up. But that by itself, dealing with that earth element when you're dealing with Azia, you could be learning about earth. You have people who are geologists, and they've devoted their life to learning about the earth and all of its terrestrial movements and terrestrial mysteries. That could take you a lifetime. You see? So just, don't worry about mastering the whole of it, but just get into it. Get into the game. You understand what I'm saying? Dive into it, man. So let's see. Going through the chat here. Going through the chat pool. The chat pool. Peace, original man. Greetings, Chief. I used to sun gaze and unnoticed. As I closed my eyes, I seen white spots. Yeah, they were in different shapes. As I researched it, I found it on a tree of life. It was an ancient Hebrew language. And different times of day, the symbols change as if the sun is given a code of different sephiras. Yeah, that's absolutely what's happening. Um, our ancestors sun gazed and even sunbathed solely for the purposes of communication, for receiving communications. You see, so it was always seen as that. You know, it was always seen you staring to the sun or just getting a tan. You know, because we diving and cracking into that melanin, you're getting information from the sun. So yeah, and you know, if you close your eyes, if you listen really well, you stand into the sun, let it beat right down into your face, and close your lids, you'll hear a bunch of voices. I don't know if you all have that, but I got certain kind of antennas, and I can hear everybody coming down. You know, because remember what the sun is doing based on the theorem that I had offered to you all. You know, the physical sun or the conceived sun is looping or folding in and out of the unconceived sun. It's going in and out, in and out. And every time it goes in and it comes back out, it's delivering information. You see, or it's pulling information to shoot back down. You see, it's pulling information to shoot back down. So essentially, if you stand there long enough, you're gonna hear or you're gonna perceive that which is considered to be inconceivable. That's you can't. It's gonna happen. You can't really get away from it. You know. So yeah, I could definitely see that. Lotus Scholar says the Lakota sun dance. You made me think of it now. It makes sense. Brother Charles Umbro says my kung fu teacher, kung furry. Okay, he fixed that later. Spell check. My kung fu teacher used to say when learning hastens slowly. Right. Exactly. You know, exactly. You know, you have to learn to sometimes take small bites, because once you're in, information will begin to open up to you and things will be revealed to you based on where you're at and what you may need. You know, sometimes you don't need everything. This physical life isn't but so long, you know. So Sister Kia says, how long is long enough to sun gaze? I don't know. I have no idea. That question. I don't really get into sun gazing too much. Yeah, I don't. Me personally, I like to close my eyes and open up to the sun. I find that to be a better experience for me. I like the redness on my eyelids. I like the feeling that I'm surrounded in fire. You know, my eyes open, I'm seeing too much of I'm just seeing too much of the illusion. But if I close my eyes, then it really feels like I'm enveloped in light. And that enveloping in light, you start to feel like you are light. You know, that's just for me. Everybody is different. So it's just different ways to do it. Yes, Jesus loved me says, when I look at the sun, it can look dark with a bright ring and also blue sometimes. Yeah. Some of the telephonic images that come back from the sun are actually like that. They're blue. You know. Gemini says, yeah, that warmth, that sun hug feels the best. Oh, God, she's getting all pink and fuzzy. All right, I'm not getting into that. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep it moving. Carrier, CEO, says, greetings, Chief. Greetings, Carrier. She said, I never understood the line, we will walk right up to the sun hand in hand, from Nas' song, If I Ruled the World. Can you share your take, please? What's your take? You ain't share yours yet. You go, then I go. Show me yours and I'll show you mine. So, yes, Jesus loves me says, gonna try it. Good. Original Man says, as long as you can then close your eyes and notice the white light spots. Yeah, you definitely will notice them. You know, I was always taught back home that those white spots are the same thing as the squiggly lines you get. You ever have a good build session with someone, or sometimes you're just sitting by yourself? Let's see, I see them now. And you know those bouncy, squiggly, transparent lines. Some people have them, some people don't. I've been seeing them since I was a child, and I used to ask people, and they look at me like I'm crazy. But I have met other people in my adult life that know what I'm talking about. But you know those squiggly lines that bounce up and down. You know, if you bounce your eyes, they bounce up. Um, I was always told that that was spiritual presence, that those were actual spirits that you were seeing. You know, and the white spots are the same. I do understand though that not everybody sees them, but you'll find that you'll see more of them if you have especially good build session with somebody. I've noticed them there, or when I'm in ritual or something, and more of them come out. So Anwar says, I found in meditation when my eyes are shut that faces begin to define themselves. That's interesting. Justin says, I haven't seen a Sephiroth between Tifereth and Yesod, like there is between Tifereth and Kether, Dath. Does one exist? No, it's a path. So you want to look at, like, there doesn't have to be a Sephiroth, because in a way there is, because between Tifereth and Yesod, you would have Hod and Netzah. Okay, so Tifereth is like your solar chakra. Well, it is symbolized by the sun, of course, and Yesod is symbolized by the moon, right? So what exists between the sun and the moon? You know what I mean? It's that type of relationship. So yes, there is a geometry to it, but you don't want to just get caught up into the geometry. You want to get caught up into, not only you want to get caught up in anything, but you want to look at the actions of it all as well. You know, you want to look at the actions of it all. So between those two, you wouldn't really have to see anything. You know what I mean? You really wouldn't have to see anything. And that's in terms of a Sephiroth. But you want to pay attention to the path, or the paths, I should say it that way. You want to pay attention to the paths between, I think you said Tifereth and Yesod. What's the one? Let me look at your question again. I don't see it, and it unscrolled up. But between Tifereth and Yesod, you have, you can almost say, let me see, because you have a path going from Tifereth to Hod. That's one. You have another path going from Tifereth to Netzah, and then you have a path straight from Tifereth to Yesod. But you could almost look at, and then you have the path going from Hod to Yesod and Netzah to Yesod. So you could almost look at all of those as being paths. But so you don't just want to look at the actual Sephiroth itself, but you want to look at the paths as well. So like I said, with Tifereth, you have Resh, that's connecting Tifereth and Yesod. And also look at it like this. Tifereth is the sixth Sephiroth. I'm about to say the sixth Odu, but the sixth Sephiroth. See, when you're mixing things sometimes. Yesod would be the ninth. Now, you know that 6 and 9 are complements to each other. I've already taught you about that. The 6 and the 9 are complements, divine complements. So you get that the sun and the moon are divine complements, right? So what comes between that? There's really a crossing, because you have Resh coming straight down on the vertical, and then on the horizontal, that's connecting Hod to Netzah, you have Mim. Should be Mim. And if I'm wrong on any of these, just because I know I could just look it up, but I'm enjoying. See this some of this stuff I haven't really thought about in a long time. So it's good. It allows me to have little nostalgic moments as well. So I enjoy teaching it to you sometimes. But but yeah, there should be a crossing of Resh and Mim between Tifereth and Yesod, which again you're dealing with Tifereth being the beauty, the intelligent beauty, and your sword being the foundational beauty. Okay, let's see. Diana Williams says, "What amazed me when staring at the sun was the black hole." Mm-hmm. She sees it. Anwar said, "I know what you're talking about. Mine float through my line of sight." Yeah, and FXRBES, that's the same thing too. FXRB, all right, let's see what the young brother has to say. Oh, I'm always nervous when I read his stuff. He says, when I'm having deep conversations with people, I can see the etheric double and this tunnel thing that is circling around the middle of their heads like a wormhole. Nice. Well, what is it? What is it? And Carrier CEO says, "Chief, I have no idea. I always thought it just rhymes." She's talking about that walk up to the sun hand in hand. If you have no idea and you want my take on it, you're not gonna get it. You gonna have to put a little bit more work on than that. There's a little bit more work. I have no idea. It just rhymes. All right. Well, you just keep that then. Hold that. Control that. You just gonna hold that. Nah, man. I'm not gonna give you no gym, and you ain't give me nothing. FXRBES says, "I think it's their crown chakra." Let's do this, FXRBES, and this is for everybody listening. You said, let me read it again. You said, when I'm having deep conversations with people, I can see the etheric double and this tunnel thing that is circling around the middle of their heads, looks like a wormhole. Why can't it just be that? It's a tunnel. Why can't it just be a tunnel thing circling around their head that looks like a wormhole? Now, what I'm saying when I say that to you is this, or the etheric double. You don't have to make one thing another thing. Strip everything like if no one ever taught you anything. You never knew what a chakra was, none of that stuff. Take it away from yourself. And then look and then say, well, then what is it? You would say the same probably description you said. You probably wouldn't say etheric double. You probably would just say, I see two people, or I see their twin. You probably might say something like that. When I have deep conversations with people, I see their twin, and I see something circling around the middle of their heads look like a wormhole. Work from there outwards. That's how you want to do it. Work from there outwards. Don't always try to grab what someone has told you is. For instance, how many times have you looked at somebody's body and seen, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet circles spinning up, the back of their spine, coming from their phalanx on up? Probably never. You see what I'm saying? So just because I'm teaching you these chakras and say this one is this color and this one that, doesn't mean that's what it is, because I have to be able to prove it. You see what I'm saying? So you're having a divine experience already. You don't want to limit it by saying, I think it's their crown chakra. Throw that out for a second. Think whatever it is, whatever you just saw. And saying that there's a tunneling thing circling around the middle of their heads that looks like a wormhole, that's good. That's fine enough. That's good. Work from there. If it is a wormhole, what's a wormhole? What does a tunnel represent? What does circling represent? You see what I'm saying? Start from there, because whomever came up with the idea of a chakra or kundalini, anything else like that, that's how the definitions began. But because we translate them into another world, I'm assuming another word, because chakra means will. So the first person who saw it was saying there's a will. Oh, you got a will in the middle of your back. Then we say chakra, and we add all of this to it. It's a chakra and a kundalini. Kundalini is, you get the word cunt. But we say cunt, we just ignore it. Like, oh, I ain't no big, don't call somebody that. That's a bad word. We skip right over it. You see what I'm saying? So don't discredit or undermine your own experience of what you're seeing and what you're experiencing, and try to apply it to what someone else said is more divine. What you already have is. So work with your stuff outwards. And I'm not saying you don't study anything like that, but what you just said was, or I'm sure you were seeing those things that you just described before you even learned about any of this stuff. You see. Original Man says, Chief, since you have experienced that, how do I translate those into useful information? Those what? I guess you're talking about what you were talking about earlier. Let me scroll up because I don't remember what you said earlier. Let me see if I can find your name. Original Man. He said, I used to sun gaze unnoticed as I closed my eyes, seeing white spots. They were in different shapes. As I researched it, I found it on a tree of life. It was an ancient Hebrew language. And different times of day, the symbols changed as if the sun was giving a code or different as if the sun is giving a code or different sephiroths. Crack the code. That's easy. You know, you want to know how do you translate those into useful information? Crack the code. Determine what the code is. If you see a certain symbol, pay attention to what happens next. Now, if you find out it's an ancient Hebrew language, you can learn Hebrew. But understand, Hebrew is a little difficult. Hebrew is kind of like learning Arabic. You know, you have like your formal Arabic, which no one really speaks except for newscasters, but that's what's usually written. And then like you have Egyptian Arabic. You also have a form of like a Hebraic, Israeli Arabic. You have, you know, so Hebrew is very similar. There's so many different dialects that you could actually learn it and then still not understand what a person's talking about. But you can create your own glossary, you know, your own lexicon. If you see a certain symbol when you close your eyes and look at the sun, draw the symbol out. And then you can scry into that symbol or just ask that symbol to give you its meaning. So it becomes your own language in a sense like that. That's what I would do, you see. Or if I knew it was an ancient Hebrew language, I would learn that language. That's, you know, that's the best. That's the smartest way to go about it. No shortcut there. You might have to learn another language. Raw Honey Jaha. She's been out of commission for a while. She said, I have the same thing going on in my eyes. My doctor says it's a thin layer that breaks away when you are a baby. Maybe it's the part that corrupts you into humanity. Tareem says it means that we will learn, grow, and build each other up into a new light of the world, I think. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Yeah, I'm not sure what does that relate? What are you comparing it to, Tareem? Not comparing it to. I know it's probably something I spoke about 5-10 minutes ago that I don't remember. Catch me up. Catch me up on where I was at. Oh, the Nas song. Okay, thank you. Okay, the Nas song. That it means we will learn, grow, and build each other up into it. Man, don't give her all of that, Tareem. She didn't give us nothing. All she says, Chief, I have no idea. I always thought it just rhymed. Man, don't give her nothing. What FX4 sees sounds like what was discussed in the book Celestine Prophecy, Energy Sources. FXRBS says, at night I see it clearer. It is some type of light that is beaming down from the sky on some people's heads. Some people have it and some don't. Within the light are rays of energy coming down into it. You know, I would say this too, when you guys are having experiences like that, where you're seeing different etheric or energy or color or sound bodies around people, it's going to sound kind of weird, but I'm going to say it. Pay attention to it, but kind of ignore it. Sometimes we make such a huge deal when we experience the unseen realm that we chase things away. You know, it's like when you see a spirit out of the corner of your eye, right? A lot of times your first reaction is to turn your head. But sometimes we forget that those particular entities live within different fractals of light. So you're only going to see them out of the corner of your eye because your light is processing. Your eye lens, the lens of your eye is processing light differently on that curve. You know, your eyes are not flat. They're not like flat screen TVs. You know, so what you perceive out of the corner of your eye is going to be different than what you perceive right in front of your face. You see? So sometimes when you turn to look at something, you'd be like, oh, maybe it was just a shadow. It wasn't anything. Maybe it was just a mosquito flying on the side of my face, you know. Um, so I would say in terms of that, uh, when you're having those experiences and you're seeing those different type of things, just accept it as a part of your normalcy. Accept it as a part of your natural way. You see, so when you can do that, you'll see more of it. It's like I remember I was I was in a room once somewhere and doing some work. I was in there. I used to go in there every night and build these pieces, these shrine pieces, and it was always dark. I always had like candles lit and things like that when I would work. And one day I went in there and I was working during the day with the lights on, which I never really did. And it was these mice like crisscrossing, running back and forth all over the place, but like right next to me. And I realized in that moment that they were there all, because sometimes I would hear little sounds and I'm like, maybe, different environment. Maybe I don't, I'm not used to the sounds here. But what it was, that's how mice saw. Whenever you have an infestation, you kind of know if they come out around you and they just hang out around you. They don't run when you see them. That means you got a lot of mice in your house or in your apartment, So, so the thing is, the mice, like, they would like right next to me as I was working, when I had the lights on. So pretty much it was like, look, buddy, we've been here all this time. You ain't chased us off. You ain't tried to stomp on us. So we here. We doing this together. So, and I just kind of left them there. I didn't even, I say ain't no point trying to chase. They're going to outrun me anyway. I'll probably end up running face first into the wall and knocking myself out. But it's the same thing with your spiritual energies, man. When you accept them as a normal part of your livity and you give that attention and that realization into your mind and into your thought projections, then more will come through because they know it's safe to be there. It's like being in the woods with animals. If you can walk amongst them and not change your vibration and your energy to shock and horror, because just like they sense your fear, they sense your anxiety. If you can do that, then they'll get closer to you. They'll come closer to you. They'll be comfortable being around you. Spiritual entities are no different. Royal Honey Jaha says, my daughter had farewell prom and graduation finally yesterday, so now I'm back. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see. Mama Sadaka, my energy reacts differently when observed. Yeah, exactly. That's why sometimes you don't want to shift your attention to it. Just let it be. You get more that way. Carrier CEO says, I got Chief. I think. Come on, be more confident, sis. She said, I got Chief. I think we will return back to the source after we leave this planet Earth. Nah, song reference. You could do better than that. I'm still not coming up off of nothing with that. We return back to the source after we leave this planet. Come on. You ain't even saying nothing. We return back to the source after we leave this. I need more than that. Dig deep. Dig deep into that womb. You're a woman. Dig deep into the womb. Pull out something better than that. FXRBSO said, RB. I mean, I can't say your whole name. I'm just going to say Forbes. FXRBES says, Asheo, I'm going to start accepting instead of questioning. Thank you, Chief. Hold on now. Hold on now. I ain't telling you not to question now. Hold on. You can accept some things, question some things. Forbes. Yeah, that's what I thought. Forbes. Okay. Accept some things, question some things. But what I'm saying is, don't categorize your own genius. That's what I'm saying. Don't use someone else's genius as a standard or a validator for your own genius. So you see something and you say, oh, I'm figuring it's chakras because somebody else came up with chakras. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's some new stuff. You see what I'm saying? So Respect your genius. Respect your own G. That's what I'm saying to you. You know, explore your own G. Explore your own idea. Explore your own vision. Like you said, some people have it, some people don't have it. Well, pay attention. Like, why does, what kind of people don't have it? Do any of your friends see it? Do you mainly see it when you smoking weed? You know what I'm saying? Do you mainly see it when you listen to music? Or do certain things shut it down? Like if you're talking on the phone, can you also see people's auras at the same time? You go on your own mission. You see what I'm saying? That's what you need to be bringing back to us. You don't need to reiterate all these things that people have been saying for 1,000 years or longer. It's already been said. You came into this generation. You're a young man now because you're supposed to bring that new era. You see what I'm saying? It's no different when I was studying, I was learning. I wasn't trying to do what necessarily what my elders were doing. First of all, some of the stuff they do, I still can't do. Some of the, I came up under some nice elders, man. These dudes was crushing rocks in their hands at 90 years old. They had a different kind of ifa, putting their fingers through rocks and stuff like that, showing off, doing real magic. All right. So I can do. I got some stuff. I got some stuff that would spook you and haunt you out that I do. But this ain't no damn card show or nothing. But so what I'm saying is that they had their thing. I looked and said, wow, but I have my own thing too. You see, so and some of it is based off of time dispensations. It's those energies that earlier went into the Dath, into the timeless, and then came back out. It's those energies, those solar flares that are shooting back out from the sun. That's us. You see, we're the new thing that's coming back out. So when you're seeing, like you said, things that are tunneling and spiraling around people's heads and double bodies and stuff, man, draw a picture, man. First of all, you're a filmographer. Forbes does film. He does videos and stuff. Shoot a video about it. Come up with a new web series about it. You see what I'm saying? There's a new way to present things, man. Be that new thing. You dig? You don't need these old things always to validate you. Learn them. Don't get me wrong. Learn them. Yeah, absolutely. Learn them. But they don't have to. You don't need them to validate your experiences. You're seeing what you're seeing. You're experiencing what you're experiencing. You see? And no one could really take that away from you. Now, if you were to ask me, is it this or is that? I could tell you if it's not this or not that based on certain things. Like you might say, okay, I saw a person's etheric body. And you might ask me something like, is that the Orisha? I would say, no, not necessarily. No, you might have seen their OGG. We already have something for that. But what I'm saying is that you don't always have to lump one thing into another thing. And on top of that, you got to respect your genius. Like we say, respect my gangster, respect your genius. You see? So, no, I'm not telling you not to question, man. When you're having those personal experiences, yeah, question the spirits around you. Question those spirits who are appearing to you. If you see a person's etheric double, have a conversation with it. If you see something tunneling above their head, ask them, hey man, you feel something circling around your head right now? They might say, yo, what are you talking about, man? You sound crazy right now. All right, cool. That means it's just all right. I guess it's just for me. This is not to be spoken about. It's just for me. So that's something you want to look at, man. Trust me, that's something you want to look at. Respect your inner genius, man. Respect your genius, religion, imagine. Respect it all. Okay. So yes, Jesus loves me, says creating our own spiritual path based on what we experience in our lives. That's awesome. Yeah. Because see, your experiences are your paths. Let's go back to the Kabbalah tree of life. See, no matter what you say, I'm gonna be able to. I like if I want to. No matter what. See, let me tell you the danger, and then we're gonna get out of here soon because I don't want to talk to y'all that much tonight. Um, no matter what you say or that you've experienced or you're going through, trust me. Within my vocabulary of spiritual knowledge, I can put you in a box. I can quickly put you in a box. Like, yes, Jesus just loves me, said based on what we experience in our lives, that's awesome. The more, creating spiritual path based on what we experience in our life, that's awesome. The more we learn, the more spiritual experiences we have, right? Yeah, I could say, yeah, well, that's basically the path of the Kabbalic tree of life. You're going through different paths, and each path, creates different formulas for you, but those formulas add up to you going back to your source, right? Put you right in a box. Boom. You see what I'm saying? So there is a value in our learned information and our training, and then there's a value in our wildness where we don't strive to quantify and put everything in a box. You see? Or when we don't look for validation from those who we may be sharing our experiences with. You see? You don't need me to validate anything. Even if you might listen to me and be like, man, Chief knows a lot and Chief be breaking it. Man, so what? At my age, you supposed to know a lot. That ain't saying nothing. You see what I'm saying? You get past once you get past 35, man, you say something. Say something. Because, you done lost a lot of your sexy. So at least you could be as smart. So don't be intimidated by that or feel like, you need someone like that to validate what it is you're saying. Now, you may say something to me and may be off, and I'll tell you, nah, that was off or whatever. Learn something. Keep your mind open to learning, but at the same time, like I always tell you, you don't have to throw everything out. You see, you don't have to throw everything out because I don't have all the answers. So I may put you in a box, but the box may be too small for what you bring in. It's like when I used to go back and forth to Nigeria a lot, man, and, going and getting my training and things like that. I had a lot of friends there was like, so yeah, you're going to move to Nigeria, Baba, because, you're doing so much here and this and that. And I remember saying it to, I ain't going to say who I said it to because there's a person who was very high up in EFI at the time. And I said, nah, Nigeria is too small for me. And he looked at me and he smiled. He didn't get offended at anything. He said, yeah, that sounds true. I said, yeah, Nigeria is too small for me, man. I'm doing big things. I said it just like that, like not even thinking. I think I was packing my clothes at the time and put my stuff in my book bag. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing big things, man. This place is too small for me. You see, so what I'm saying is that he didn't strive to localize me. There are some who have and some who still do want me to stay there permanently. But a lot of times that's too because they know when I'm around the Naira is being spread around, But for you younger folks, man, and when I mean by younger, I'm saying 24 and under. 23 and under. Respect your G. Respect your genius and think bigger and beyond what it is that us elders are giving you. You see, and I'm not an official community elder, but I'm elder to you if you're 23, 24 years old. I'm older than that. But what you're seeing and what you're experiencing is valid. Now it may not be what you think. You may come to me and say, oh, Chief, was that this or was that? And I say, nah, and I'll break it down to you and show you what it is. But I'm never going to break it down in a way where I dismantle or I dissolve division. I might say, well, maybe it was, play with it, talk to it, see what it is, explore it. Because how else are we going to evolve unless somebody gets kicked out of heaven? Somebody has to kick the dragon down from heaven to the dust. Somebody has to send Michael the archangel to say, "Hey, man, go whip his ass." Excuse me, go beat him up, and send him down into the dust because I think he could be better than me. He said it 10 times that he would be. He said he'd even fly above me. Okay, I think he's right. Let me send old Lucifer down there and see what he can do. Well, that's what we are. We're Lucifer. We are the generation of Lucifer. That's why we love music so much. We love praise so much. We are the generation of music. Like Lowe says, somebody got to take the fall. Yeah, and they all fall on the first try. I know you know what that's from. So that means what you're coming down here to do, you've already... Oh, breaking up. All right, give me a second. Okay, that should fix it. So that means whatever you're coming down here to do, thank you, Tareen. It should be fixed now. Whatever it is that you're coming down here to do is to improve the perfection of what has already been done. Do not forget that. Do not forget that. You're supposed to improve it. So that's why when you hear me talk about nature to you, and I say, yeah, nature's beautiful and all that, but you're here to evolve nature. Thank you, Tareen. You're here to make a lake better. You're here. Yep, you got it low. You're here to make a tree better. You're here to make a cloud better. You're here to make the wind better. You're here to make a rose sweeter. You see, still static, huh? I think it might be a delay, Anwar. But it should be good. Should be good. Should be good. Just let me know. Yeah, it started back. What the bummer? See, that's because I meant to be off way before now. I only wanted to put an hour in tonight. All right, so I fixed some things. Maybe it'll come back. Okay, it should be all right now. I know it's all right now. In the name of Jesus. Is it all right now? All right, yeah, there's a delay. Delays, boy, get me. So, like I was saying, I think it's clear. I think it's gonna be all right. I don't think it's still gonna be static. But like I was just saying, no deal, no deal. All right, we're about to get out of here, then, man. I'm not gonna sit here fiddling around with with this jammer. Nah, I ain't gonna stay in the groove, man. I'm not gonna talk and you can't understand me. A little better. Nah, if it's not perfect, I don't want it. Yeah, if it doesn't sound perfect, I don't want to do it. You're 90% audible. It ain't that deep. It's deep to me. Well, it means something to me. That's how them teenagers be. Nobody understands me. All right, shut up. Still messed up. Yeah, so that means more static than Tupac and Juice. Uh-oh. You don't want that. You don't want that. All right. Let's see. I don't know. See, usually this is around time and fix when I hit every option that I can actually hit. Oh, here's the other option. Sometimes I do watch this. Keep going. It's getting better. Nah, man, y'all want me to sit here and talk y'all to sleep. That's what that's about. Keep going, Chief. Keep going, Chief. Nah. Nah, I ain't going to keep going. Y'all got enough. They got 2 hours of content for free. How much more you want me to do? Let's see. It should be fixed by now. If it ain't fixed by now, then it don't need to be fixed. Keep going, it's getting better. I took a sleeping pill. Huh? Well, honey John, what's going on with you? You sad, huh? Your baby done went off to school. That's what it is. Well, honey John, I always have a lot going on. Yeah. It's still staticky. Yeah. All right. Well, the heck with it. Yeah, you're right, Tareen. Tareen says we got to find a better platform. It seems like every time he gets deep, here comes the static. I'm on the Kabbalah chart, Chief. Yeah, man. Well, let's see. Yeah, let me try something. I'm gonna do something else. This will probably fix. Boom, boom. I bet it's fixed. Bet it's fixed right there, isn't it? Is it? Let's see. Yeah. Let me do that. There we go. See, yeah, I knew it. I should have just did that to begin with, but you know how it is. Yeah, man. I know y'all want me to sit here and talk all freaking night, man. I'm not doing that for y'all, man. Get out of here. I gave you enough already, man. I taught you about the tree of life. I cleared up the whole sun issue, the hidden sun issue. I gave you some guidance on what you came here to the earth to do. Come on, how much you want? You know, you in the game. We got another hour. Hey, yeah, I'm already an hour over. I want it to be done and done with y'all by 10 o'clock. It's now 11:03. And matter of fact, I didn't even eat. Hear that? Hear that? That's my dinner. Okay? That's the only thing I ate all day. I didn't eat all day today. And right before the show started, I had a bowl. I didn't even eat it. It's still here. I had 3 spoonfuls of spinach. See what I'm saying? Y'all probably sitting back, smoking cigars, eating hungry man dinners, washing it down with a nice Fanta. You know what I mean? Chilling. I'm over here grinding. But nah, y'all got enough information, man. Y'all don't hardly do nothing with the stuff I already teach you. You're going to pay for that soon. Watch. I got something in the works for y'all. Yeah, man. Shoot. I got to eat this cold, spinach and everything. Can you warm it up? I ain't warming nothing up. I always eat my food cold, man. I'm just used to it. I'm always the last one to eat. I demand what the meal should be. Yeah, I want this, and I want some vegan tacos, and I want some vegan pizza. That's right. And then I want a vegan, and then I'll be the last one. Always, everything be all smushy and run through. Picked over. That's how it goes, man. But yeah, y'all got enough, man. So yeah, like I'm just saying, and I'm gonna close out with this because I'm about tired of y'all. So no, I'm joking. But you had the same thing for dinner, Sister Alicia. All right. Yeah, but see the difference is, Alicia Howard, is that you're a woman. That's fine for you. A little bit of spinach, 2 spoonfuls of spinach is fine because you're probably trying to watch your figure. I ain't trying to watch my figure. You see what I'm saying? I'm a tank. I gotta eat for tank activity. You dig? So I'm messing with you. But yeah, man. So yeah, no, just think about that Luciferian aspect, man. That's what you came here to do, to evolve with. That I taught a little bit of that in a show previously, and somebody really misunderstood it. But that's how people do, man. They don't. And I was speaking about the concept of original sin and how original sin is necessary. And people look at it like, yo, that's a Christian concept. But pay attention to what they're saying. What is sin? Disobedience from the Most High. So sometimes you have to be disobedient to evolve the ways and action culture of the Most High. Sometimes your children will do things that you're just not going to be able to stop them from doing. That's just the bottom line of it. And you need to sometimes fall back and let them do certain things, even though you may not agree with it, because it's a part of their evolution. You see, even though it may bring them pain, they got to feel that pain. You got to see what it's like. So that's the same thing with the Luciferian aspect. It's I'm gonna send you down to the earth and trap you on the prison planet if you want to evolve. You're gonna have to fight through the corruption and the ego of a human. If you want to be better than where I am, if you want to be better than what I am, that's a necessary process. That's why sometimes when you all ask me questions, I don't give you complete answers. You have to go experience some of this stuff. Like, you have to fight for some of these answers. Some of y'all want it too easy, and when you get it like that, you don't evolve, because that's not the design and the wiring that we inherited on this planet. That's why we live in the information age, but it's the Kali Yuga age at the same time. Everybody's ignorant. But there's so much information because it's too easy now to get. What's hard to get at this point? It's not even hard to get sex anymore. You know, something you used to have to figure out how to do, and you know, as a young man, and you know, you might scheme on one female for a whole school year. Now it's easy. You know, money is not hard to get anymore. You know, we don't know what to do with it when we get it, so we blow it. But things are achieved and obtained so easily at this point, and it goes against our very wiring. There has to be some measure of struggle, you know, in order to bring forth that victory. So sometimes it's similar to like our new spiritual training. There's some aspects, like when you're dealing with that north and south node. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to give away the content, but people will say, well, wait a minute, he left this part out. How do we find this one if this one's my north node or this one's my south node? Yeah. Find it out. Figure it out. The information's here. I've already given the information. Sometimes you got to dig. Or sometimes y'all are asked questions that I've already addressed in earlier shows. And I'll say, I already talked about that. And you'd be like, well, what show? Can you give me the date and time? No. Get up off your behind and go find it. Search for it. Dig for it. Scrape for it. Scratch for it. You see, that's how you become good. That's how you become deep at this. But trying to make everything like a microwavable experience, you ain't going to get nothing like that, man. Trust me, you're not going to get anything like that. And people who teach you like that, they don't know anything. Because if they really were real teachers and they knew anything, they wouldn't teach you like that. They would teach you by forcing your hand to evolve yourself, to make you a participant in your own light evolution. That's how they would teach you, you see. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest teacher or anything like that, because, you know, I'm not. But I do know some of the basics. I know something about human psychology. I know what works and I know what doesn't work, you know. And you can sit back and watch and see it doesn't work, man. You know, if you look at the conscious quote unquote community right now, go on YouTube and see how many channels of information you can find. You can find people talking about every and anything from how to make your own black soap, you know, to how to solar gaze, how to get your status correction, you know, so many different topics that people are talking about. What's better, the Kemet, you know, or Hebraic culture. You got people talking about Orisha left and right with a lot of wrong. Man, hey, I got to mention this. I wasn't going to say that. I'm going to say it. I heard this female on this video. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because one of my ex-students, well, she never was really a student. She was really kind of a leech. But ex-person who was down with I can't say she was down, who was hovering around, I knew. She was commenting on the video, and that's what caught my attention too. There was this woman online. Well, not on, her video's still up. I'm not going to say the title of the video. I'm not going to give you no clues or hints because, you know, I don't do that. But basically, the video was comparing. Well, if I tell you that, then you're going to find it. How do I say this? It was comparing Ifa with another tradition. Let me just do it that way. Comparing Ifa with another tradition, right? And she said what makes Ifa not as strong as this other tradition is when it comes to divination. And she said because with Ifa, you primarily only divine through dreams. You don't know who I'm talking about, Nicole Mask. Stop trying to shake me off my square. She trying to knock me off balance. You don't know what I'm talking about. I did a good job hiding that one. So yeah, no, you didn't, Nicole. She trying to knock me off. You don't know either, Raw Honey Jaha. they, they trying to knock me off balance. But so she was saying, okay, if you saw it, Nicole, what did the person compare Ephah with? If you have the answer there, then I'll let you I'll let you live. Oh, 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 y'all did see it. Okay. Hey, I stand corrected. Okay, I stand corrected. Okay. Um, huh. Do I want to keep talking about this? Nah, I don't think I want to talk about this anymore. Mm-mm. Nah, I think yeah. Yeah. I think I'm yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. Yeah. Cause if I say anything now, then now it's gonna seem like I'm talking about that sister. And I don't wanna do that. I don't I don't like doing that. So I'm just gonna say a lot of times people pushing information out. Yeah, of course you're gonna say the answer now. Forbes already put it in the chat, Nicole. You ain't, you know what I mean? You ain't saying nothing. Head wrap and all. Oh yeah, okay, you saw it. I shouldn't even brought this up, man. I should have ended the show earlier. I'm just saying, man. It's a lot of funny information that's out there, and you know, it's not to discredit any. Well, I don't have to discredit something that makes no sense, but Tareen says Chief gives us the message and the lesson with that sister. Yeah. You know the thing is too, man, you gotta understand, it's just like music, man. Most people want crap. They want garbage. So when you're teaching, it's no different. Most people want fake teachings. They don't want real teaching. You know, so the fake teachings will always be more popular than the real stuff. Because a lot of the fake teachers reach out to me. Of course they're stealing, you know, but they reach out to me for guidance or readings or whatever like that. And I know it's like, you know, I know that you know that I know that you know that you don't know what you're talking about. You know, but hey, the people are clicking on it and watching it and, you know, buying my little stuff. So I'm gonna keep doing it, you know, because people want garbage, you know, and when you're listening to a phony person, they don't highlight the phoniness inside of you. It's just like certain people. I used to look at them and they would be so phony and fake, and I'm like, you can't pick up on this. You can't see this. It used to really discourage me in terms of doing this work because I started to see the people who I thought I was talking to was not who I was truly talking to. You know, I thought there was a baseline level of intelligence or a baseline level of sincerity that just wasn't really there. And it was very discouraging at one point in his journey. It actually almost made me want to stop, you know, some years ago. And I just didn't, you know, just kept it going because I made some promises and I'm gonna keep them. But you start to realize even the idea of the African village or the black community, the conscious community, it's not what you think it is. So a lot of times that bad, I can't believe me. I'm still tripping. How did y'all pick up on that so quick? I'm slipping. But anyway, so you start to understand that, you know, it's like Elijah Muhammad said, if you know, present a dirty glass of water and a clean glass of water, people will choose a clean glass. Not anymore. Not anymore. They want the dirty glass because the phoniness in them is confirmed and is fed through the phoniness in others. You see, so when you give some authenticity, it cleanses them out. You know, it cleans them. You become that source, that glorified or pure or eternal and everlasting sun, that eternal and everlasting light. You become that in that moment. You see, and they may not want to dip back into the darkness. Maybe they got mommy issues, but, and I'm talking about even as a man, you can be that maternal energy where you become that darkness that they dip back into to become whole again, to reemerge. They don't want to reemerge. They want to stay pushed out, into the falseness and the illusion, man. So, so I'm just saying, in terms of your E5 teaching or just your teachings, period, man, don't always discount what you come with, because a lot of times the people who you think are out here really doing it ain't doing nothing. And like I said, if you listen to some of the earlier segments that I did early, I said, if you really listen to the values and the things that I'm showing you, you'll be light years, or I said, you'll have the knowledge and the information as it pertains to Ifa and Orisha of people who've been in the tradition for 10 or 15 years. I said that in the earlier segments, and I still hold to that. Listening to these segments is like getting a 4-year degree in metaphysics. That's what it's like in occultism. I knew spiritual training, going through all phases, is like getting a master's. That's just the truth of it, and it's sad because a lot of people do not know what they're talking about, but they still talking. They just keep talking, and keep presenting themselves as authorities, and they're not. If you don't know, you don't know. That's why I say, you might ask me something, I don't have to answer to everything. I don't even want the answer to everything, So, yeah. Yeah, I can't believe y'all caught that one. I thought I was, I'm going to have to stop doing that. I'm going to have to stop doing that. The YouTube seems, and the internet seems like such a huge place, but I guess it's not. I guess it gets smaller and smaller, Let's see. Anwar says, I swear that's how I feel YouTube videos are now. Yeah. The internet itself is just getting, the deity that resides over the internet, the deity of presence, is losing its flair, because we sacrifice presence for meaning. Our old deities, they held meaning. The new deities don't. They just hold presence. Royal Honey Jaha says, I've been binge watching your rituals and spells all day. People always say that to me. Man, I've been watching your stuff. I go to sleep listening to your stuff. I wake up listening to your stuff. I work out listening to your stuff. And I'll be like, yeah, remember the show I did on SU? Huh? Who? Isu. What's that? So I don't buy that anymore when y'all tell me y'all been watching everything. Justin says, friends of mine who would share with me videos of pastors talking about their experience in hell for X amount of minutes. There are so many videos like that. Like, where's the critical thinking? Right. But see, it lets you see, we're talking about Illuminati stuff now. The illuminated ones. The illuminated, like, some can perceive the intangible sun, and some can only perceive the manifested sun. That's what we're talking about. So some will look at those fake teachings and they don't perceive the unseen source of the fake teachings. They just see the fake teachings and take it on face value. So the illuminated ones are the ones that are illuminated with that dark light, that black light that can see the hidden sun underneath everything. Brother Charles Lumbo says fake teachings is vague and all over the place. Yeah, absolutely. Lowe says, Chief, you forgot when he said if they thirsty, there's a lot of thirsty people today. Yeah. Thirsty to have garbage fill them up, man. Nicole says, I've seen who her friend is, and both of their information seems a little off to me. A little. A little off. Woof. Man. That's something just like, who told you to talk? Like, who told you can talk? Shut the F up. Like, why are you talking? Why are you up here trying to teach somebody something? Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no accountability in that sense, man. There's no accountability. Like, people just get up, say whatever, even will start arguments, and then people are so freaking lost, which you would expect because people are lost. They'll be like, if someone ignorant is saying something, they'll just confirm the stupidity in you. And people will say, "What? Oh, that is so true. That makes so much sense." Of course, it makes sense to you. You don't know anything. So I'm just confirming your wrongness. You see what I'm saying? That's why when I watch some of that stuff, and I'm saying I'm not hating on the person speaking. It's just it's what the effect that they have on the listeners. See, that's a lack of compassion. People are lost. So you using this as a hustle. Well, I can just jump up, like you said, put on my little head wrap, put on some big ankh earrings or whatever, and then I can do readings and intuitive readings or tarot readings or whatever it is that because some stuff is easy to get into. Everybody can't jump out there and say E5 readings, but you can jump out and say, I do tarot. I just, because you don't really have to, you just go to Barnes and Noble, get a pack of tarot cards, but you may not even know about what tarot is. You may not know anything about the Kabbalah. And then you'll say, well, it doesn't matter because I'm intuitive. And you're leading people astray. And it's really sad, man, because it also sometimes causes people not to want to have anything to do with any of this stuff anymore. They're completely done. That's where you hear people say, man, F them Hotep, NIGGASs and them Hotep hoes and all. So now you take this term that's so rich in our culture, Hotep, and you bastardize it because you're stupid behind, man. Because you couldn't get your little businesses off the ground, so you found, well, this is a way I can make some money. This is a nice little hustle I could do, man. I can get up here and pretend like I know something, and and talk to a bunch of sick people and make them sicker, and then get a bunch of sick people to confirm what I'm talking about. It's just it's sad, man. Some people are just so starved for attention. They'll say whatever's going to confirm whatever you want to hear, man. So I'm just saying that for those of you who are having those authentic experiences like that, like I said, respect your inner jinn. Respect your inner jinn, that imagine or your imagination, your inner genius, which is your demons. But respect that inner jinn, and cultivate it and nurture it and treat it tenderly, because you all have some funky, weird stuff that you do that nobody else does. All of you. Like Brother Original Man saying earlier, yeah, I'm staring up into the sun and seeing white dots and then finding out it's an ancient Hebraic language. See, that's some weird stuff. Grab that weird stuff, hold on to it, don't let it go. We all had that stuff. Or me at 7 years old going into patches of woods and setting bonfires and doing divination and rituals around bonfires. Who does that at 7? Who's allowed to even walk in the woods by themselves? You know what I mean? So all that weird stuff, you don't throw it out. It all means something. Because you'll find out later when you get divination and stuff, oh, that's why I did that. Oh, that's why I did it. So hold on to it now before you forget it. You see, hold on to it now before you forget it, man. Lo says, I know I'm weird. Grab it, hold it. You see? All of your deities that you like getting t-shirts on and calling yourself, they're all weird too. My aunt sitting there in yoga pose for 10,000 years. You know what I'm saying? Shango sitting there eating his dinner with a double-headed axe in his hand. They all weird, man. At the end of the day, they all weird. Ogun with them red eyes, Oshun can't get enough of the pinus. Hopping from pinus to pinus, but at the end of the day, all she really wants is stimulating conversation. They're all weird. Don't even let me get started on that shoe. let me get started on that shoe. So you start to see the deities, man, they always come through weird. Look at Little Richard and his weird self. Look at Jimi Hendrix. Look at James Brown. You know what I'm saying? CeeLo Green, you know, Erica Badu. They always come through weird, man. So hold on to that weirdness, man. You know what I mean? Hold on to it, man, and don't be ashamed of it just because it may not fit into some of these clowns. Because, like I said, man, if you know, like the music and everything else, because I've had people talk to me about that and complain and say, you know, hey, man, you know, I'm putting out this information stuff, ain't nobody listening. Why would they listen? If the majority of the people are sick, they're gonna want sick things to feed their sickness. So no, they don't want to listen to real music, man. You ain't want to listen to no real musicians or anything like that. They don't want to listen to real teachings or anything like that. They want to listen to things that affirm their sickness. You see what I'm saying? So, um, in order for you to push beyond that and to push into another realm of your own development and consciousness, and open up that world egg, you know, become that Dionysus, you know, become that Mithra, become that Heru, to become the Ra, you're gonna have to push beyond with courage, you know, what everyone else is doing. You know, you're gonna have to push beyond that. The ones that we admire so much are the ones that do that, man. The ones can push beyond the zodiac. The ones can push beyond the supposed theorem of the Kabbalah, or the supposed theorem of what we consider the chakra system to be, or what you tell me Shakti is, or what you tell me Shiva is, or you know, or what Vayu or the essence of air is, and things like that. You know, and they're able to move beyond those assumptive aspects and really own it for themselves. Those are the ones that do something and create something, man. And I honor those people, even the ones, even if I don't agree with them. There's you know, that like for instance, Aline Bay. You know, I always say nice things about Aline Bay. I have nothing discouraging, you know, to say about Aline Bay, because one thing I like about Brother Alim is that he's sincere. He's sincere. Good spirit, man. Just gentle spirit, man. You know, he was a very early supporter of the show. I don't know if he still listens, but probably maybe because now he's not on Blog Talk. But when I used to miss shows, he'd reach out. It was, what's up with the show, brother? You ya, or sometimes ya you. Yeah, brother, ya you. You missed the show. What's up? He loved them shows where he's eating them up like they was food, you know. But just a sincere energy, Dr. Aline Bay. The brother from this one y'all not gonna agree with, but I don't care about what y'all got to say. I'm gonna say what I need to say. From Atla Worldwide, the Atla Church down in Harlem. James David Manning. He's another one. Crazy as I don't know what. I mean, he's legitimately off his rocker. You know, I mean, shoot, he got up there and said that Africans never built a building that was over 2 stories tall. Slavery was the best thing that could have happened to us. But you know why I love him? I'd mess around, join his church. You know, I wouldn't. I'm just saying. But you know why I love him? Because he means what he's saying. He's not compromising. You know, when he puts those signs up if you ever walk by that church, you put some signs up talking about the you know, he talks about gay people and this and that, and he's sincere with it. You know, we got to get these gays out of Harlem. They after your little boys and all that stuff. You know, he's crazy, but he means it. You know, he's not for sale. And I can appreciate his sincerity. Is he weird? Yeah. Is he off on a lot of his points? Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's just talk about the Christianity thing. But I mean, yeah, he's off in a lot of different ways. But you don't come across too many people who really mean what they say anymore. And when you look at that etheric body, you don't see the double. We see the doubles because it's a disconnect between what's being presented and what truly is. And we rejoice in it. We say, "Oh, look, I see your doppelganger." You ain't supposed to see it. That means there's a lack of unification. One thing's doing something, or there's a delay there. It's supposed to be one force coming forth. You see, he's a person you listen to. One force coming forth. Dr. Aline Bay, one force coming forth. These are both two people who say things. A lot of times I don't necessarily agree with, but it doesn't really matter if you're being authentic and true. You're being truthful. Now you notice on this segment, I don't really mention too many people like that. I really don't. That should kind of tell you something. Yeah, Father Divine was a different kind of thing, though. Justin brought up Father Divine. I think Father Divine was an alien. I mean, not an alien like we are. Like he had a ship somewhere. You know, he was a different kind of animal. You know, the way he brought metaphysics in. He was like the Elon Musk of his time. You know, the way he was able to create that gigantic ministry with black and white people at that time. You know, instituting greeting each other, saying peace. You know, before the hippies did it. He was a different kind of animal. Little short, high voice screaming man. You know. But yeah, it's the weirdness of it all, you know. So it's not always going to look the way you would like it to look, or it's not always going to conform, man. And when people are looking to do that, first of all, people can never keep that up for so long anyway. Trust me, it cracks at some point. It cracks eventually. You know, people can't keep that up. But when you're exploring your own note, and sometimes it takes a lot of silence, explore your note, figure out what your note is. We all have a note. We all have a tone. We all have a resonance. If you have a djembe drum and you play it, and then you let me play your drum, my note is going to sound different than your note. You see, Louis Armstrong was famous for that, man. He used to do this. He used to take his mouthpiece and put it on other guys' horn, and he had this certain technique where it's called bending notes, where he could play with the valves on a trumpet, where he would hit these notes in between the notes. And people couldn't figure out how he was doing that. How we basically coming up with new notes, you know, outside of the scales, outside of the matrix. He was hitting notes outside of the matrix. You know, and people thought it was his horn and stuff. So he would sometimes grab another guy's horn. He put his mouthpiece on and do the same thing, just be killing it, and then hand it back to the person. You know, we all have our own note, man. You know, so that's what I'm saying with you, Brother Forbes, man. Explore that note, man. Explore that note. He says, Chief, are you part of the Ajugan Egbe, Warrior Egbe? Yeah, I'm familiar. I feel like I know you for some reason. Yeah, I ain't gonna answer that question. Which I guess already gives its answer, huh? But I'm not gonna answer it. You know, I don't talk about my lineage much, my Nigerian lineage too much. It's for a reason. Yeah, pops. That's what they called them. Pops back in the days. You know, your pops used to bend them notes. Crazy Horse, but they called him queer back then. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. Respect your genius, man. Respect your genius. And there's a lot of wrong information out here that will take you down a road that you don't want to go down, by a lot of sick people who can't get out of their own way. You know, they can't get their stuff together, but they figured out how to hustle you in the process. You know, it's not cool. You know, it's really not cool, man. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Get into that inner self a little bit more. Explore self, and I don't mean inner self in terms of, you know, the idea that everything that's inside is real, is true, and all the answers lie within. Not that foolishness. You know, that's advice always given to you by hard-headed people, you know, who have no respect for authority. We need help. Just like right now, I'm giving you help. And there's people who will listen to these segments in and out and then come back and say, yeah, I taught myself. You ain't teach yourself, man. You've been listening to me for 2-3 years. I'm teaching you. You know what I'm saying? I may not say that, but I know what it is. I have people who like, yeah, Chief, I've been listening to you for years, man. Oh my good man, changed the whole way I look at things. And I pretty much been doing this by myself all these years. What? Doesn't even make sense. It's not like I'm just here playing instrumental music or I'm playing chants or mantras or something. I'm teaching, So so I'm not speaking about in terms of that just going inside, all the answers are there, but going inside and finding your note, finding your heart song. What is your heart song? What is your melody? And sometimes you have to clear away a lot of the rubbish in order to get to that, man, but it's worth it. It's worth clearing it away. Don't fall for these people who were too lazy or too unmotivated or too scared to clear away their rubbish to get to their real note. So now all the women have to look like Erykah Badu, and all the dudes have to present themselves like Sarah Sutton-Seti. Those are model archetypes. Just like your deities are model archetypes. You don't have to walk around dressed like Oshun to prove to me that you're an Oshun woman. You ain't got to walk around acting crazy like you think Ogun is because you think you're an Ogun man. Show me what the new Oshun is. Show me what the new Ogun is. It may not just be Beyonce. The new Oya may not just be Solange. You see, there's other ways that those energies express themselves. They're vast in that sense. They're vast. So that's why you want to know your note. All right. Enough is enough. I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm still kind of surprised that y'all figured out that video so quick. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. I'm gonna have to drop a dime on them. I don't like that. You finished out that. You figured that video out too quick. I feel kind of bad. I feel like I was getting on the sister. I'm not getting on that sister. I want to reiterate that. I'm not getting on her. She's on her journey, right? And she's sharing information that she thinks is, I don't know what the hell she's doing. Let me not even. I don't need to be sitting there making all them excuses for it, man. She done damn near disrespected my tradition, and I'm still sitting there being nice about it. But it is what it is, man. It's time for the real to squad up. That's the bottom line. If you real and you ready to do something for real, it's time to squad up. And kind of leave these lames in the dust, because they're gonna have you stuck on a continent. That's going through turmoil. They're gonna have you stuck in a place, man, when this thing collapses, and as it is not when it's already collapsed. They're gonna have you stuck here thinking that something's coming that ain't coming, thinking something's gonna happen that ain't gonna happen. Man, stop listening to them. I don't call them clowns. I'm not talking about her. I would say that collectively clowns. Generically, but man, just stop. I'm telling you, it's gonna lead y'all straight. Raw Honey says, "I'm ready." I don't know. You got a lot going on, Raw Honey. I don't know. You got guys stalking you and old half friend guys, manginas. Forbes says we here. Yeah, Forbes, but you be swinging in and out. I don't know about you either. You suspect. Nicole, she's good. She with her husband in the Bahamas. Forbes, like tonight, Forbes was on point. He was dropping it. He'll come back tomorrow and just be all over the place. So I don't know about Forbes, man. We caught him on a good night. Yeah, but just be careful. And like I said, like when I was talking to Forbes, so he's the one who really popped all this off. Trust your energy, man. You got it. You got this. Trust me, young man. You got here. You came here to be better than me. That's what you came here for, to be better than me. All of you who are under me and are learning from me, you're learning from me and you're under me to surpass me. When I say I strive to make myself obsolete, I'm not joking with you. I'm really not. I'm not saying that to say something different. Okay, he went praising the sun today. See what I'm saying? Forbes put on his hat made out of copper wire, and he went outside to go praise the subliminal sun god, Thundar. See, he back on it. But yeah, man, really, you gotta surpass me, man, and you better hurry up. Get on it, because I'm a lot further ahead than I let on. I play dumb a lot, but trust me, if you're here and your ancestors and the Most High brought you to this place to come under this umbrella for a time to learn under me, it's because you were meant to overtake me. You see, you were meant to overtake me, because not everyone can pick up on the frequency. You see, so if you were able to pick up on the frequency of this teacher, that means I'm another step in your journey. I'm a stepping stone. You see, you're supposed to surpass me. You can do it. Trust me, you could do it. It just takes a little time, little dedication. Respect for the process, and then trust me, I'm good, man. I'm good at putting people in locks. You're gonna surpass me, but I'm gonna have a hook on your coattails. You be like, man, I feel so much heavier. What the heck is this? Am I dragging? Chief Yuya. Yeah, you thought you was gonna leave me? Y'all gonna pass me and take me with you. That's how that's gonna go. But yeah, man. No, Forbes, I will let you see. He's a good example. See, y'all ain't gonna have me on this thing all night, man. Forbes, y'all always say something that's off, But Forbes just said that's why I'm trying to study you under you in person. You don't need to study under me in person. I've given you enough information on the shows. You probably don't even study that. Everybody wants to come study with me in person. Chief, how can I get with you personally? I don't want to get with y'all personally. You ever think of that? Has that ever crossed your mind? I don't want to get with you personally. I've given you all this information. If I haven't seen you do what I put in front of you, I don't want to talk to you. Because then that means I got to go through all the basics all over again. That means you're going to be sitting there trying to argue and go back and forth with me with all the basic stuff that I'm already taught. That the stuff that I learned when I was 12, 13 years old, you want to argue with me about. That's what happens when I let people come around me too. I don't have the tolerance for that anymore. Because then I'll say something and you'll be like, oh my God, he is horrible. You don't believe me? Ask some of them our new members. Some of them ones that you've seen in them videos. They'll tell, oh, I had to get out of there, child, because he called me a mother effing dummy or something. No, I never said nothing like, well, have I? Not to anyone's face. But trust me, it's not that I'm antisocial, Anwar. It's this. I know my value. Everybody can't come to the throne. You see, I'm doing these shows and I'm helping y'all and stuff like that. But don't think I'm some type of sucker or some simp that doesn't know my value. You see what I'm saying? Don't think that's what it is. I know how precious I am. I do. And I know I'm the alpha. I don't have to teach y'all nothing. I don't have to be the teacher of the community. I'm the chief. I don't have to teach. So me sitting here and teaching you and breaking things down is grace. So when people are like, but why I can't learn under you? Because you think I got nothing else better to do with my day? You see what I'm saying? Be happy for what I already gave you. And if that ain't good enough, then go get some of them whack teachings from them whack people. But what you're getting in these segments, what you're getting in the online classes, I already know what it is compared to what's out there. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to come off sounding like that. But I know, like I said, I spits the hot fire. No, I'm joking. But I know what it is. You don't need to learn under me one-on-one. You don't. Matter of fact, let me tell you this, Forbes. And for all of y'all talking that stuff, you can't learn under me. You can't. You couldn't take the heat. Trust me, you could not take the heat. This little stuff that I'll be teaching you on these shows, man, this is stuff that I was doing back in the 90s. 20 years ago. And some of this stuff, some of you all are still like, oh my God, my brain is about to explode. I can't understand everything he's saying. But I'm telling you stuff that I was rocking 20 years ago. So where do you think I am today? You couldn't study under me. Trust me. Now, I know this is going to be one of the ones people going to be, he's so arrogant. I'm not being arrogant. Just I know myself. And I've tried it already. And all it ends up doing is annoying me. So I took time out to say, here, let me give y'all the basics. We went through all the Orisha stuff. You know, I mean, that Orisha stuff, why is it I still not doing all them shows on Orisha? Because I'm tired of talking about it. I've been talking about it for over 20 years now. For y'all, it's brand new. I never heard that perspective. Obatala is not a Orisha? Oh, Obatala means that calling the fathers of resurrection? I never heard that. Well, I've been heard that. That ain't new to me. I want to talk about something else. You see what I'm saying? So when y'all like, I want to come underneath you and learn, you are learning underneath me, man, but you can't get that close to the fire. Those who try to get that close to the fire always end up leaving Anu. I'm going to keep it real with you. Those are the ones that you see around for a while, and then they disappear. They tried to get too close. And then when they start to see how things are really done, and not just that, the level of dedication and devotion, especially some of you sisters here, let me let you have it because it's Wednesday night. Some of you sisters who are like, I want to be a powerful witch chief and I want to learn under you. Which you lying. You really just want to, you want to turn it into something else. I'm not stupid. You want to get that witch instruction, but you like, hey, if I can get a baby out of the deal too, that'll be even better. I know what it is, man. But what happens is when you come close and you start seeing the level of devotion that I put into what it is that I do, then now it's not so sexy anymore. See, it was sexy when, I'm just talking on the segments and I'm breaking things down and people are throwing questions at me and I have an answer for everything and I'm being funny and I'm making it look easy and all that. But then when you see me somewhere with a big ass 600-page book and I say I'm going to read this today, and you sitting there saying, damn, he been sitting there for 6 hours and he's still reading that book. And I'm over here, looking all cute and sexy and got some nice perfume on. He ain't going to come over here and hit this. He's going to sit there for 6-7 hours still with this inanimate object. And I'm over here with the breast spilling all over the place and my thighs is all greased up and he's not going to come and take care of this. This isn't sexy anymore. This isn't cool. I don't like this. I don't like, and then you demonize it. Then I have to be villainized because you can't admit that it wasn't about me. It was about you came in to take. And when something was required of you, you couldn't do it. You see, that's the truth of it. So that's why when I tell you, no, this stuff I'm teaching you, I done had this for 20 something years already. There's a level of devotion that goes into it. And if you are not, like you just said, Forbes, I'm on the same thing you on, Chief. I'm just way younger. You ain't on the same thing I'm on. You know how I know you're not on the same thing I'm on? Because I wouldn't even ask a teacher, can I come and study under you personally, if I haven't even gone through their class. I never did anything like that. Even when I was 13 years old, I ain't do nothing like that. And I know you older than 13. So we ain't on the same thing. Nope. You on something else. You see, I always saw it as grace. Now, Roy Honey, see, this is why I don't like talking to y'all. See, she says not all women. Who said all women? Then now I have to bring the vibration of what I'm saying even down more. I don't mean all women. I'm saying some. I ain't doing all that. You understand what the hell I said. Stop trying to bring it down to a dumbass level. Listen to what's being said to you and learn something. See, this is what I mean. People can't be where they can't be close to me like that because I'm not going to spend all day talking about basics with you because that's what you want to learn and you can't keep up. That's the truth of it. So I'm putting that out there for everybody who's always like, Chief, I want to study under you. No, you can't study in me, especially if you can't even get through the coursework that I'm giving right now and you struggling through that. Or when I'm giving you protocol and you can't even If I got to put you through a goddamn charm school, you're not ready to be near me. You see, if I have to tell you how to speak to me, or if I have to say, look, don't yell at people or don't talk over people or that was rude, that's charm school. Then you can't be around me. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna say that for all of y'all, because that question keeps coming up. Chief, I wanna get with you. I wanna get with you. You said y'all women. See, now she's trying to debate. Do I have to shut you down, Royal Honey Jaha? Because see, while you trying to debate, I could say 3 things that could just make you be wrong right now. This is what I'm talking about. And then after you wrong, then you're going to say that I was being mean. But meanwhile, you over here trying to correct me in public. And you don't know what the hell you're talking about when you should be listening. Because let's not forget, Raw Honey Jaha, you're a newbie, as you admitted in recent times coming in. I'm just learning all of this. So then you should be humble. Nah, don't explain it to her. See, like she said, Nicole said, those to whom it applies to, sis. She should have already known that. This is what I'm saying. This is what you don't want to be near me. Trust me. Because the ones that's near me, when they do little shady Willie Lynch plantation stuff like that, I check them. Learn something. Don't try to change the way I'm going to say it. You better change the way you're going to listen to it. Change your ears. You ain't going to change me. You're here to learn. Don't change the sun. Find some shade if you can't take it. This is what you have to understand. So all of that, I want to learn on you, man. Get out of here with that. No. Nope. No. Prove that you earn that spot. It's not just through your declaration that you're going to be lazily type something in the email. I want to learn you. No. You know what's gone into this and what goes into it daily? You couldn't even imagine. And when I give people just a little bit of that, they usually can't hang. They get burnt out. And everybody would say, not me. I won't get burnt out. You will get burnt out. So again, if you haven't committed yourself to the coursework that's in front of you, you ain't ready for this. Trust me, you're not ready to be around me like that. Don't think this kindergarten information that I give y'all is what I digest daily. So anything outside of that, for those who say, well, I want to be around you, Chief, that means you want to slow me up. I don't have time to be slowed up, because if I let you slow me up, then that means I can't serve the community at the level that I'm supposed to, because now I'm exhausted from dealing with your nonsense. Like Roy Honey Jaha put in the group, go ahead. See, I ain't even addressed that. I'm going to leave that alone. Some of y'all ain't ready for the spanking. You better stop thinking I'm as nice and as sweet as you think. Or as you want me to be. I'm not that. I just keep it humane so that I can get through the lessons for you. So nah, man, y'all ain't like me, man. You can't learn anything. I don't see that level of devotion with most of y'all. Maybe a couple here and there. 2 or 3. Tops. But if you just coming through the door and you haven't even digested what I've given to you for free, how could you say, oh, I want to learn underneath you? Learn what? And for what purpose? What are you already doing with what you know? Or let's try this one. What are you already doing for the community? If you're doing 0 for the community, and I ain't talking about your children or your nieces and your nephews, I'm talking about the greater community. If you're doing 0 for the community, I don't really want you around me in my personal life like that anyway. Because everything I do, even what I'm doing right now, is community work. So if you don't have a heart and for the people like that, you're not going to understand why that level of devotion and dedication needs to be put in place, or why things need to be done properly. When I say, no, I told you to get this color cloth, not that color cloth. I told you to get, this type of river stone, not that type of river stone. You're not going to really understand any of that. You're going to feel like I'm just being hard on you because you don't have that level of commitment and higher purpose involved in what it is that you're doing, other than you just want to be deep. I'm not the one for that. I'm really not the one for that. If you have that mercurial aspect where you can get close to the sun like Mercury can, then you'll work your way up here, and I'll see you, and I'll say, come on, I want to bring you on. And I have done that for some people. Come on, I'm gonna show you some stuff on the side. Come on over here. But if you don't have that, man, stop. I'm just saying, man. So the answer is no. Forbes says, I'll fly to you to meet you for one day and let my presence speak for it. Your presence is already spoken. The fact that you keep asking and the fact that you're not listening to what I've said, that has said enough to me. You ain't even listening. So no, I wouldn't want you around me because you hard-headed. You one of them hard-headed young guys. No, I'm not putting myself through that. For what? Why would I do that? Let's try this, Forbes. Forget presents and all that. I know, because you probably just come dressed up with some nice cologne. Let's try this. What are you doing for your people right now? I'll wait. Come on, Forbes. What's taking you so long? Anything? You right. I'ma chill. See what I'm saying? Which doesn't answer the question. What are you doing for your people right now? You right. I'ma chill. Didn't I say that in the very beginning? Art. You doing art for your people. You doing art? Really? I express myself through my visual art. You express yourself through your visual art. That's narcissistic. What are you doing for your people based on what your people need? See, that's what we did with the conscious movement, man. The conscious movement became an artistic movement. Instead of going out on the streets and educating the people, we started writing poems and stuff. Doing RBG hip hop. I throw events in which I share my perspective to the Miami art community. Oh, get out of here with that crap. I throw events in which I share my perspective. Yeah, I'm sure the events you got to pay to get in. I share my perspective. What perspective? Over here lying, man. You think I can't see through that? So nah, man, you ain't doing nothing, man. You ain't mentioned nothing about no children. You ain't mentioned nothing about no elders. You ain't mentioned none of that. You talking about the Miami art community. Come on, man. Get out of here with that, man. If you ain't doing nothing for your community, don't try to come up and learn underneath me. I'm not going to accept you. I can't give them knowledge yet because I haven't gained enough of it. Isn't that the classic BS line? That's why I'm trying to learn with you, so I have something to get back to the people. Nicole says, I work with kids in my city. Well, Nicole, you never asked to learn under me, so you good. You good, Nicole. We talking about Forbes. Not even, it's free. Look through my Instagram. I'm not looking through your Instagram. I ain't got time for that. And I don't be looking through guys' Instagram. I only look through the sisters' Instagrams. I don't look through the guys' Instagram. Well, I don't look at a bunch of pictures of a dude for. Dudes are ugly. I'm not looking through your Instagram. No. The day you grow breasts and a vagina, I'll look through your Instagram. Until then, get out of here with that. I ain't look through your dog on Instagram. You know? Yeah. That's how it is. So, nah, man, y'all ain't ready for that. You know, what you need to learn, you want to get anywhere close to having a closer thing, learn some protocol, man. Lo says I'm handsome. Hey, man, maybe you are, brother, but I never looked through your Instagram. I'm not interested. All you brothers putting up pictures. I mean, I appreciate all the shout outs and stuff, but I ain't looking through it, man. Nope. I'll look through Royal Honey's Instagram. I ain't looking through Nicole's because she's married. She's off the market, off the public market. She ain't, you know. I look through all the sisters' Instagram because I'm gonna see something that's pleasant to the eye. I don't want to see a bunch of ugly men. Men are horrible looking. I'm not looking at that. Pictures of you and your pit bull. Pictures of you driving in your truck. What's the other little stupid pictures y'all like to put up? Pictures of you in the bathroom with your tank top on. No. Why would I? No. Yeah, strong mind, strong body. Yeah, strong mind, strong body fitness. Yeah, she's one of my Instagram favorites, Sister Deanna. She gets my day started right. You know, she puts out them workout videos. Mama Sadaka says, "What size you need that shirt in, Bob? A 4X." I'm a 4X, but I don't know what the T-shirt is. But yeah, but you can see Forbes is still going. See what I'm saying? But you can see my potential and what I can bring to the world. I don't care anything about potential. Everybody has potential. Tareem still going at Royal Honey Jaha. Why he got a thing for you, Royal Honey? He keep going at you. I noticed that since the beginning of the thing. And you're the only one he said hi to. This whole chat. Everybody else, he ignored everybody else. Said hi to you. He's gunning for you. But Tareem, she talking about who? Why don't y'all just get together and stop playing? You know who. Stop trying to be coy. But yeah, Forbes still going though. Through Instagram. I don't have a typical Instagram. Who cares? I'm not interested. If I have to look at your Instagram to see what you're doing, then you ain't doing nothing. Let it reach me. You see what I'm saying? Oh, look at that. Oh, they are my cyber baby mama. I don't know what kind of children you gonna have. Viruses. Y'all better meet in real life. Nah, Forbes, you know, I know you feel like I'm getting on you, but that's because I am getting on you. You need to be gotten on. Because I have to make you an example for everyone who needs to learn this, man. Everybody who ain't listening. You know, go through the process. Y'all refuse to go through the process. What it is you young and you come from a microwave society and you want a shortcut. I'm forget all the teaching he giving. I don't need none of that. I'm going right to chief. Because a lot of times people think that they are greater than what they really are. So I teach stuff and they're thinking to themselves, "Oh, that's for y'all. That's for everybody else. That's not for me." Yeah, it is for you. It's for you too. You know, because if you haven't gone through the basics, we can't talk because we don't speak the same language. It's like when Loda Scholar and I got on the phone and we were talking about Dune. I'm sure a lot of people were lost, but we both read the book. And we read several books in that series. So we were able to speak the same language without having to slow up for each other. Brother Zach read the book recently, so now he can get in on that conversation. So it's the same thing when you're trying to work with me and I'm saying, okay, let's say if I bring you into a shrine and I'm like, okay, do this, do that, do that. You ain't going to know what to do because you haven't even gotten to the basic information. But everyone's trying to get their little shortcut thinking that I'm stupid. Just because I do free shows on the internet and stuff doesn't mean I'm stupid. I'm doing this for a reason. You see? So don't think I just live to teach. Or I just live to prop you up so you can be smart. I don't care nothing about that. I got youth. I'd rather put that time into my youth. Y'all somebody else's children, man. Let your parents do that. You see what I'm saying? But the problem is when you have men, especially black men, who give from their heart, our programming automatically tells us that they're work mules and they're betas and all they're here for is to keep serving us. You see? So then when I say something like, "Nah, man, I ain't doing it. I don't feel like doing it." It's like, what? What do you mean you don't want to do it? You have to do it. Nah. Or if I say, "No, I know my value. I don't have to have anybody study up underneath me." I'm only taking prodigies. I'm only taking golden child children. I can say that. I know my value. I know what I bring to the table. You see? I know I don't have to spend the rest of my life teaching y'all the basics. I'm better than that. So if I say that, it's like, oh my goodness, who is he talking to like that? Forbes says, my Ashe learns better when people are speaking. It downloads into me. When I'm reading, it doesn't work. Forbes, check this out. That's your problem. What you do is you get the books and you read them to yourself. And then you play the recording back. That's your problem, player. That's what you got to understand. This is a personal journey. This is your journey. It's not mine. I don't care nothing about what you do. This is, we all have our own paths to take. And I know I told you Forbes be off, man. I don't know. Forbes down in Florida, man, they got that good reefer down there. So he's smoking that good reefer, so he's probably off tonight. But I'm saying it for everyone listening. Anwar says you'll be amazed by the amount of information that will come to you from service to your community, Ifa in the present. Exactly. But there ain't nobody trying to serve the community. There ain't nobody interested in that, because unless they can put it on the Instagram. No one's really, trying to really do that. And that's why they stay stuck where they're at, man. That's the problem. Everybody wants to be these spirit stars. And you got to understand, there's nothing cool about that anyway. You want to be a spirit star, or you want to go to Nigeria and get initiated and come back and say, I'm Babalawo. Someone. Nobody cares. Where you going to go with that title? Where's it going to matter? Nowhere. Except for within a cyber community or a local community where you might have a little African Family Day festival where you get an opportunity to put on your whites and your leggings and shine for half a minute. Then you take your rusty behind back home and be your Western name for the rest of the year. Clarence Dickey, Buck Henry, Shawana Davis, Letitia Jenkins. Look crazy. You got to go back to being them things. But if you build up yourself as a man or you build up yourself as a woman with authentic things, then you can move through the world with that level of dignity and respect. You see? You can move through the world with dignity and respect. We're talking about the last dragon. He all over the place. You see? I'm just looking for teachers, that's all. Man, you already got a teacher. I mean, you got 3 hours of teaching just now for free. You still talking about you looking for teachers. It should be clear by now. Still static. I don't know. I'm about to get off. Enough is enough. I'm about to get off this Maryland farmer. But I'm just saying, in terms of a lot of times where people feel that they are entitled to, you're not entitled to anything, especially if you haven't shown that you need those tools. You see? If you're out in the community, I don't know if I'm still static, it's clear. If you're out in the community and you're showing that you actually need certain things to do certain things, then the spirits will make sure you have those things. You see what I'm saying? But if you just sitting back like, I want to learn this, I want this, I want that, ain't nobody giving you nothing, man. That's how the world works, man. Ain't nobody handing you nothing. I told you I was on the continent wrapping my hand around people's necks. Like, yo, you gonna teach me. People who was trying to play me out. So if you're not doing anything, you don't need any of this stuff. Why would you need Ifa? Why would you need to learn about your character and all these different things if you're not implementing that in the community? If you're not functioning through your character, you don't need to know. You see what I'm saying? It's like going up to someone who has a certain trade. They work on a railroad or they're a seamstress, and you say, "Oh, why don't you teach me how to make clothes?" "Oh, you want to make clothes?" "No, I just want to learn how to make clothes." What's the seamstress going to say? "Man, get the F out of here." Or at least they want to see, are you trying to make clothes now? "Yeah, I'm trying to make clothes now, but they keep coming out raggedy. Everything look like a Gordon Gartrell." "All right, well, here, let me show you how to make it properly." You see? But y'all ain't doing nothing. I'm not saying all of y'all. And Raw Honey Jaha, I didn't say it, not all of y'all. Oh, I guess I can't really get on you anymore, Raw Honey Jaha, because Tareem has claimed you. He stained you. But yeah, no, you don't learn those things until you go out and you be those things. Then the resources come to you. It's just like when you having a dream and something is chasing you over the cliff and you jump over the cliff. What happens? You grow wings. You can't just sit at the edge of the cliff and say, I wish I had wings. Why don't you give me wings? God, when my wings gonna come? I want wings. For what, man? Your reality is created as you perceive it and as you live it, but you ain't living it. And I'm not just talking about you, Forbes, so you can stop responding. I'm talking about everybody who has that thought. Y'all better stop looking at me like I'm some type of come up because what's going to happen? Let me show you let me teach you how this goes. I peep game before you. I peep it coming a mile off. So I'm gonna get you before you get me. Now you look at that however you want, but I'm gonna get you before you get me. You think you getting me, but I'm really getting you. People see me as a come up. Oh, I'm gonna go learn with Chief, and I'm gonna steal his information, and you think that's what you're doing, but it's not. Trust me. I tell y'all, I'm a lot more slicker than you think I am. I see you coming a mile away, and trust me, before you use me, I'm gonna use you, and then I'm gonna toss you away. That's how that works. What you mean you want a divorce for Honey Jack? No, you with Tareen. To death do y'all part. Or at least until you change your YouTube handles, use a different Gmail account. I guess that would be considered like a divorce. Justin said, this is exactly what I learned through my art. I wanted a professional teacher for one-on-one for a while. I had a slew of information under my belt that I never used. When you use it, right, exactly. When you use it, the experience opens you up to so much. Exactly. When you use it. But that's the problem. People don't use it. They just they're used to collecting dead information all the time. Gimme. What you gonna do with it? I'm still trying to figure out. Then you don't need it. You see, you don't need it. But when you go out there and you when I started learning Ifa, I was already doing community work. I was already doing the work of a priest. That's why by the time I finally got initiated, I had known so much about Ifa already, but didn't know where to place it because I was already living the culture like an Ifa priest. Because when you start to do certain things, you're going to terraform into that thing, whether you like it or not. It's just like somebody who gets into a lot of street fights. Somebody who gets into a lot of street fight. I had an instructor like that years ago. He used to say that to me. He's like, Haru, yeah, I train in the dojo all day to do certain things, but I can learn a lot from you. And I was like, what makes you say that? And he said, because you've had a lot of real fights. You've had a lot of real world experience where most of my stuff is theoretical, you see? So the thing is, when it came time to train with him, yeah, I had to tighten up certain things, and certain things that I did naturally, I had to learn what it really was. But I had a lot of things already because I had real situations where I had to defend my life with my bare hands. So it's the same thing when you're doing the work. When you're out here doing it, you're going to get those. Hey, Forbes, I ain't paying no attention to you. So I know you keep posting. Here, let me show you how this boy's post sounds so you can hear it. He says, I am doing the work of the priest. I pray for my friends and family. I live a upright and I live a life upright, and I lead by example. I literally walk into a room of niggas. Stop talking. See what I'm saying? Do I need to read that again? I'll read it again. I am doing the work of the priest. I pray for my friends and family. I live a life upright and I lead by example. I literally walk into a room of niggas. Stop talking. Yeah. Need I say more? Need I say more? You see what I'm saying? I want to study under you, nigga. Teach me, old nigga. Because I literally walk into a room, a nigga stop talking. Oh, now he wants to give the typo correction. So, excuse me. So let me say it properly. He just gave us the correction. I literally walk into a room and niggas stop talking. Need I still have to say more? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I told y'all before to scoop him up. I told Dietrich, scoop him up, man, start training him. But y'all see, that's the community work. Yeah, I'm wild now. Hold up, my nigga. Here we go. Here we go. It only take a little bit. That's because I joke a lot. That's all. Right. I hear you. I hear you. You ain't ready for me, man. You ain't ready. Forbes, if I worked with you, you know what I would do? This is the first thing I would do. I'd strap you to a front of a boat and I'd sail about 5 miles out. And I'd stay there overnight. I'd get some movie. I'd bring some movies with me. Some classics that I like to watch. Maybe Black Caesar, Hell Up in Harlem, Sheba Baby, Foxy Brown, Putney Swopes, Juice, Beat Street. Let's see what else. Get on the Bus. You know, couple joints I like. Love Jones. Guns of Navarone. 3 the Hard Way. But I'd leave you strapped up and tied up on the front of the bus. I'd be in there watching my movies, and you know, maybe I'll bring me a bottle of rum. And while you still be strapped up on the boat, then I would sail back into the harbor. Okay. Then I would drag your listless, possibly lifeless body off the boat, and then I would ask you if you've learned any of the mysteries of life. That's how we would start you off, by a good saltwater bath. But see, some people can get their saltwater baths just by going to the beach shore. You would need to be soaked and submerged in salt water for over 24 hours. That's how we would have to do it. Okay. And that would just be the start. That would just be the start. Okay. Then I'd probably have you walk through a Brooklyn project barefoot. Yeah. Over the broken glass and everything. One half, and I dress you like SU. One half of your outfit would be all red, the other half would be all blue. Yeah, that's what we do, just to get you in the zone, get you in the zone, if I was to even to do something like that, but you ain't ready. Even Raw Honey Jaha said you ain't ready. You see? So nah, man, take your time, man. Absorb and digest the things that are currently on your plate. Stop rushing, man. There's a lot to learn, and I'm not even talking to Forbes at this point, because Forbes is like I said, he's smoking reefer. He's smoking reefers. You know, so we ain't talking about Forbes, but in general, a lot of you want to take these shortcuts, and you think if you get with me, you're gonna get a shortcut, but you're not. You're gonna get your ass beat. That's what's actually gonna happen. That's all that's gonna happen. So humble up, man. Go through the process, man. I know everyone thinks that they are better than the process. I don't need that. I can just jump ahead. Okay. And you'll be like people up there saying that Ifa divination is mainly through dreams. Those are people who jumped around, who just grabbed something real quick and figure, I got this, I know this. And now you up there sounding like a damn idiot. If that's what you want, then you go ahead and do that. But that's not how I teach, and I don't want that coming from underneath me. Anybody who's my understudy has got to be fire. So when people, when they're out in the community, they're doing the work, people can say, wow, whew, look at that person over there. They're really representing that Anu spirit and what Anu is about. I can see Chief really deposited his consciousness into that person. And it's not just for your own glory. And I know a lot of people feel like, well, I can do that. Listen, no, you can't. If I wasn't a good teacher, I wouldn't be able to tell those things. I know who's ready from who's not ready. I'm not stupid. You think I have all this information, but somehow I'm still stupid on the back end? Use your damn brain, man. I wouldn't have gotten this far if I was that stupid. I know who's ready and who ain't ready. You know, a lot of you sisters come forward. Oh, I teach. I want you, priest, chief. I want you to teach me. I want to be a great witch underneath you. You know what you're gonna be? Yeah, you're gonna be a witch underneath me. All right. Okay. Yeah. You better keep your butt home. you better you better keep going to the classes on your tablet. All right. You know what I'm saying? You find yourself somewhere tied up in a basement in Washington Heights on a floor with pentagrams drawn all around you, covered in goat's blood. Yeah. You're like, I thought I was gonna learn. Yeah, you're gonna learn, but first I'm gonna sacrifice you to bow. You're gonna learn in the afterlife. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. That stuff would get my door kicked in. Sorta. I'm saying I'm saying if you're not ready to totally abase yourself at the altar of a teacher, then don't do it. Keep yourself where you're at. And most of you are not ready for that because you don't even have that level of devotion. Because if you did, you wouldn't be trying to cut corners. All of those people that you've seen in those videos are people I had the same conversation with who tried to cut those corners. You know, you're not ready for that. So just you know, stay in your lane, learn what it is that you need to learn. It won't take so long. And if you're trying to rush it, that means you want it for the wrong reasons anyway. And all that, I got to learn something before I can help my people. You're lying. If you got arms and legs, you can help your people because some of your people have no feet. Some of your people have no arms. Some of your people have no eyes. If you got eyes, you can go help people who don't have eyes. If you can hear, you can go help people who can hear. You see, if you can cook a meal, you can go help people who can't cook a meal. If you can walk and you can push a shopping cart, you can go help people who can't go shopping for themselves. You see? So there's always something that you can do. So all of that, I got to learn this and get deep in all that before I can help my people. You lying. If you really was about helping people, you would be doing it right now. You'd be planting trees. You'd be walking children to school. You'd be going and reading stories at schools. You'd be sharing your talents at senior homes. You'd be, going to taking people to museums, sitting on a park bench talking to someone who needs some company, walking somebody's dog, cleaning somebody's kitchen, cleaning somebody's bathroom, redecorating somebody's house who needs to have their spirits lifted up, giving someone counseling who's suffering from drug abuse and alcohol abuse. These are things that you can do without anything, even if you don't know anything. If you got fingers and toes and eyes, you can do these things. Like Nicole just said, take food to the sick. If you ain't doing none of this stuff, none of it, get out my face. You see what I'm saying? Just get out my face. Anwar, when he came into Anu, came in like a damn storm. What y'all need help with? Well, not in the beginning, but when he finally said, okay, he gave a list of all the things he could provide. I can do this, I can do that, I can do that, and has been true to it to this day. That's an example. You see? Now, most of you ain't gonna do that. Y'all talk this stuff, but when it comes to the end of the month student segment, how many of you actually call in and share your perspective? See what I'm saying? I know who's ready from who ain't ready. So some of y'all just need to stick on these calls, get the information in the game that you get from these stores, from these shows, and keep it right there. But always trying to get up underneath people is gonna get you hurt. Let me tell you that. That's gonna get you hurt. You got to learn to respect the profundity and the vividness of your own journey and the value of your own journey. And, if you're going through your journey and you're running and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to meet them. You'll catch up to them. If I'm on an elevator that's going up 20 flights, and I have to fight on each floor to get one step further. And I fight and I finally get up to the 20th flight, and you get up to the 3rd floor and you say, hey, why don't you come back down and bring me up to the 20th floor? Why would I do that? I got to fight my way to go down, and I'm going to have to fight my way back up with you there. And by the time we get past the 3rd floor, you're not even equipped to fight beyond the 3rd floor. So why would I go back down? And I don't even see you trying to fight up to the 4th floor or fight up to the 5th floor. You just saying you should drop a rope and pull me up. No, life does not work that way. Nothing works that way. That's one of the biggest problems of our people. We always think somebody's supposed to do something for us. Entitled. I might be on the 20th floor with you. Forbes, you'll never be on the 20th floor with me. All right. You probably jump out of the window at the 2nd floor. All right. You ain't nah. And if you end up on the 20th floor, I'm going on the roof. All right. Because I want to be around all that reefer smoke, because obviously you smoking marijuana a lot. Raw Honey Jaha says my basement bathroom needs remodeling. Well, I guess you better get to it, huh, Tareem? Yeah, I guess you got work to do, Tareem. She trying to let you know if you want that cookie, you're going to have to break yourself. Anwar says, do the work will help you build the ashe for your elevation. There is sacrifices that must be made in your life purpose, right? There's sacrifice. That's the way the system works here that we live in. You give up something and you get something. Forbes, I ain't paying no attention to you. He's still going. At this point, it's just comedy. That's the only reason why I'm reading this comment, so y'all have something to laugh at, those of you not in the chat. He said, I have very big ashe, Chief. I don't even know what that means. I have very big ashe. What is that? Let me understand that sentence. I don't smoke or drink, smiley face. So that means you just naturally crazy. Now I'm afraid for my own safety. No. Mm-mm. Strong mind, strong body fitness. He says, peace, Chief, in chat room, doing the parasite cleanse. So been resting. Why I'm so late. You ain't been resting. If you're doing a parasite cleanse, you've been on the toilet. That's what you've been doing. I know what a parasite cleanse is. You had them worms coming out of your backside. Yeah. So you had to grind up those papaya seeds and blend that up and drink that to get them worms out. I know what you've been doing. Yeah. Lotus Scholar, you just gonna go right into it, huh? You just gonna go right there, huh? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, man. But just think about that. I know in our communities we have this strong sense of entitlement that people who come out of our neighborhood, they need to go back and give back for what? Sometimes they worked so hard, man, to get out of the neighborhood because the neighborhood was so cruel to them. So you have to do your work, man. Everyone can reach their own level, but ain't nobody going to give you nothing. And I give enough. 3.5 hours. And everything has been real. 3.5 hours. Everything has been real. Even what you think I'm joking about, there's a reason I'm still talking. I'm not just talking because Forbes got me riled up. I told you I'm very methodical. There's a reason I'm saying everything that I'm saying. I may say it a different name, but Lo said, yep, saw her name, and I just lit up. Wow, you just okay. So this is basically turning into a speed dating chat room. So we got Tareem and Raw Honey Jaha. We got Lo, strong mind, strong body fitness. Who else is clawing all over each other? This is turning to really like the dating game. Okay. Well, I didn't put none of y'all together. All right. So don't blame me when your crazy comes out later, because I know all of your personal crazies. But I'm just saying, man, yeah, do the work. That's all, and you'll reach your level. That's for all of you listening. You will the love boat. Yeah, who's Isaac though? Because I ain't got the mustache like that. Somebody gotta have an Isaac mustache. Yeah. Or we'll just make new characters. We'll make Brother Byron. He'll be Isaac. I can see that. He'll be Isaac. He'll be the bartender, and I'll be who was the playboy? Was it the not the doctor? The doctor was boring. Gopher, was that his name? And then there was Julie and her little son, her son, her daughter looked like a son. Her little daughter. But yeah, man. Do the work. That's all. So you got a lot of information tonight, man. You got some more information about the sun. You got more information about the Kabbalah. I think we did a lot of Kabbalah stuff, talking about the paths and things like that, and the importance of respecting and valuing your own revelations. Lowe says, strong mind, strong body fitness can give you that orgy body we all want. Yeah, I didn't see that in her tagline or her advertisement or anything like that. So I don't know if she actually markets the I don't know if she has an orgy body package. I guess we'd have to inquire about that, but I don't think oh, she said exactly, Lotus Scholar, you know it. Okay, all right. It's late and y'all inner freak is coming out. Or maybe it's not your inner freak. Maybe it's your outer freak that you were covering up all day. Raw Honey says, how are you just hooking people up? What's wrong with that? Why not? Y'all can't do it for yourselves. Everybody acts shy about it. Everybody's sitting at home lonely and trying to act cool about it. Oh, I like being alone. I've been celibate for the past 7 years and I like it. I'm enjoying time with me. You ain't enjoying that much time. Nah, you ain't enjoying yourself that much. Yeah, everybody wants to be held in the middle of the night. Everybody wants to be held and touched. Okay. You know, sometimes you act too shy about stuff like that, man. You know, you start acting real funny like you a bunch of children. You know, it's not that hard, man. Just, it's primal. You know, you got a Vajiji and he got a ding dong, and that's pretty much it. They fit into each other. Stop making it so complicated, you know. Embrace life. Carpe diem, you know. When it's here and it's now, you know, enjoy that now moment, man. Enjoy that now moment. It's important. You know, enjoy the now moment and learn to enjoy each other. Even, you know, even the platonic aspects, you know. Learn to enjoy. Okay, Lo is going crazy. Lo is going crazy up here. Wow, strong mighty, strong body finish. You sure do got an effect on Lo, boy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm glad y'all are comfortable though. You see why I don't want none of y'all around me. Y'all a bunch of freaks and deviants, obviously. You know, I don't want you staining my white garments. But yeah. So that's enough of that, man. Y'all got enough. Y'all got enough information, man. You know. Lo says, I told you I'm weird. No, you ain't weird. You honest. Well, maybe that is weird nowadays, to be so honest. Maybe that's what it is, you know. But yeah, we got a lot of beautiful people in Anu. Anu is a very interesting yeah, I got this food here. Yeah, I'm gonna eat it. It's a very interesting movement in that the type of people who are in Anu are, you know, we have a very eclectic and beautiful mix, you know, as far as the people who have come into this space. And you know, some very beautiful people, inside and out. You know, I will admit that. Not the guys. The guys, y'all all look horrible, but a lot of beautiful women inside and out, man. You know, very interesting dynamics. I'm talking about the real people who really doing something, not the people who just on the periphery stealing. But you know, it's enjoyable sometimes. It's enjoyable for me, man, to watch y'all. You know, like watch the growth and watch, especially the excitement that some of you have over learning some of the things that you're learning. It's for me, it's beautiful to sit back and watch. It really is, because like I said, most of the stuff I'm teaching you I've known for a long time. So not that I'm jaded, it's just that some of the excitement I don't remember anymore. You know, around some of these things. So when I see you excited and getting, it reminds me of sometimes, honestly, how precious some of these experiences are. Some of the simple things, like people say, I lit a candle and I said the affirmation over it and I had this dream. I say, I remember the first time I did that. Okay, yeah, that was fun. So it's beautiful, man. It's just to see the level of awe and excitement that some of you still have, because that's hard to maintain after a while. It's very, you got to keep pushing beyond your next plateau in order to get to that space. Achilles says, I'm going down the road in my 18-wheel Lagoon. Woo. All right, you got a lot of truck drivers, man. It's good, man. I'm glad you brothers are on the road, man. Getting that work in, man. And driving those trucks is always good. Gives you a lot of time to meditate. Justin says, I don't think I'm never not going to be excited about this. Justin, you're just an excited person, so you don't count. No, you don't count. Justin's always happy. Even when he says, I was feeling really down, stop lying. Justin just says that he goes through trials and feels down just so he could fit in with the rest of us. He's always happy. Hey, guys, I'm super excited. You need to go into sales, Justin, or voiceovers. You make a great voiceover person, man, because he's always super excited. Hey guys, I was just doing this experiment, and I'm really excited about it. And it was all right. I just got to tell you how it went. That's what Justin always is. Yeah, he's on a natural high. Well, it might be natural. We don't know, man. People behind closed doors, they do what they want to do, man. And Justin is an artist, man. So yeah, how artists are. They get all melancholy and they got to start taking all these pills and stuff. So he might pop a pill once in a while. So it could be a fabricated high. Well, yeah, he's super excited, man. Justin is Justin is the one you want around. I couldn't do a car trip with someone like Justin, though. Oh my God, I'd go crazy. Yeah, I would literally like lose it. He's just too. He's he's one of the people. You know how when you start a car trip, everybody's like super excited, playing the music, singing, got all the windows open, all the windows are down, and then like 45 minutes in. Like, man, put them windows up, man. They hurting my ears. Too much wind on my ears. All the songs stop. Everybody's quiet. But Justin would still be going. Twittering and putting his tweets up and his Instagram and taking pictures and selfies and all that. Man, nobody won't be around that too much, man. It's just too much happy. He come from happy heaven. Like it's different realms and dimensions. He come from the dimension of happy. I can't do it, man. I need some scowling around me. I need some scowls and some tough looks. I need to check my wallet to make sure it's in my front pocket every 30 seconds. I'm one of them. I thrive in that type of environment. All that happy, man, I lose it. It's itchy. Tareem says, I'm learning to really work with that fire element, Chief. I'd be so amazed at how the fire interact with me when I do my rituals, man. It's a beautiful thing to me. That just sound like you sparking up. That's all that sound like. You just smoking. You smoking. He said, I'd be so amazed how the fire interact with me. I know what you mean by interact with you. I know what you mean. No, I'm joking. Yeah, fire is great, man, because fire is ancestral, in terms of like the messages it brings. And the way it dances is the key, man. It bounces all over the place. And if you look at it as it's moving and bouncing, you see languages inside of it, which is very interesting. That's a whole nother talk. But fire, actually, there are languages that were designed off of the movement of fire. So it's primal in that sense. It speaks words to you, and it has its own syntax, which makes it interesting, man. But yeah, man. Anwar says, if you ever borrow my car, Chief, I'll keep the burners in it for you. Man, I don't smoke in the car. I don't even, I don't smoke like y'all smoke, man. You know what I mean? I smoke a cigar. I do smoke. I smoke and drink for spiritual purposes, but it's different. I know that sounds like something an addict would say too, right? It's different. I can quit anytime. But no, it really is though, man. But I don't smoke that much like that, man. I don't smoke too much already, man. I see the difference in me. I look different from the smoke, man. But yeah, man, I don't really, Now if you're talking about the other kind of burners, you could do that. Tareen says, gas on deck, premium let it. Oh, wow. We got an arson in the house. Raw Honey Jaha, your man's arson. He's arsonist. Let's see. Lotus Scholar says, I remember the cartoon that showed Hebrew language through fire and still think about it. Oh, I would love to see that. I never saw that. And it's funny because that's where the Hebrew language, it is based off of fire movements. It's funny you actually say that. Which it's actually the Hebrew language, in similar to Sanskrit, you can find it also in DNA syntax as well. So it kind of begs one to, kind of really question that one. Did the syntax come from fire? Did fire's syntax come from human DNA? Or did human DNA syntax come from fire? Oh, Tareen says, I smoke for spiritual purposes too, Chief. Yeah, I was talking about barrels, Anwar. I see people in fire. Yeah, me too, Achille. You can see faces. If you look at it enough, you'll see faces moving around. So fire is such an interesting element. I mean, they're all interesting, at the end of the day. Wind is interesting and fire is interesting. Earth is, and looking at mountains can be cathartic, Of course, bodies of water, you can't get away. Oh, it was about Hanukkah. I can't remember the name. I saw it as a kid. Okay. Yeah, it would be interesting. They were actually dropping something. Yeah, that's where it comes from. But yeah. So you got a lot in this segment, man. You got more than enough. Nicole says, "I love the water." Of course, you live on an island. You ain't got no choice but to love it. You gotta love it. You can't live on an island and hate the water. I wonder, chat room, have you ever scryed to incense smoke and seen smoke creating messages? Oh, okay. Now they talking about some psychedelics. All right, so let me get out of here, man. I've had more than enough. I guess I took so long because this was my first. I've been racing and running all day, and it's the first time I got to really sit. Yes, Jesus loved me. Says I love clouds. So this is what I like about this experience. I'm gonna tell you something. See all this hippie stuff y'all talking about? I love clouds. I love water. I love smoke. I love incense. I love fire. I know that in most instances throughout your moving, day, you don't get to talk like this. You probably don't get to share these things with people and have people give you feedback. And like Lo says, he loves to dance. He can't stop talking about dancing. So, you know, uh things like that are beautiful to really have that experience, to have that experience where you have that camaraderie among one another, where you can share those things. Like, I love the clouds and I love the smoke, and and the coast is happy feet. So I'm happy for you all to have that, believe it or not. And Forbes says, I love sacrificing animals to my Ogun. All right. Okay. I told you that boy ain't right in the head. See, y'all think I'm just messing with him. He's not right. He ain't right. Somebody slipped something into his weed. He talking about I don't smoke. He smokes. He smokes. He just don't be knowing his smoke. He's that off. Original Man says, Chief, I got a reading from you last week. Yeah, I remember you. You said you linked me with our new student in Atlanta. Yeah, I didn't forget, brother. Make sure you sign up for, on iKnewLifeGlobal.org for the ministry, man, so I can forward you through. Not a problem. Lowe says, I don't get to share about history and Dune and whatnot. It's refreshing, right? See, that's why I'm glad, man, you guys have that that open space, where you can, and that's what I try to encourage, man. Like, keep it going, because you never know, man. I might sell out tomorrow. Who knows? I might sell out. You know what I'm saying? Don't trust me. Anything can happen. You never know. That's what happens with people in my position a lot, right? We fall off, we sell out. You find out all along that this was a pyramid scheme. I start hitting you with some multi-level marketing, or trying to get you to sell some Amway, some comb cleaning products or something like that, or some Mary Kay. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So you want to decentralize things at times, man. That's why, again, I was so happy when The Florida group got together on their own like that. That was beautiful, man. And I know Tareem and Anwar have been getting together. You know, I'm sure up to no good, but you know that's how it is. Them truck drivers, they come to your town and steer things up and then pull off and drive off into the sunset with a haul with their haul. You know, but you know, I just appreciate that you have the space where you can open up to each other, man. You need that. And for those of you who live close to each other, like we got a bunch of people in Memphis. You know, I know we got some people down in Tennessee. We got people in Florida. We got people in Atlanta. We got a few people in Charlotte, in outlying towns of Charlotte as well. Of course, California. You know, we got a nice contingency. Um, oh, Texas. We got a lot of people in Texas for some reason. You know, it's people all over the place, and I'm not even talking about England. Got a bunch of folks in England, a lot of folks in England. You know, we got a pretty good contingency in Canada. We got a good amount of folks in the Bahamas. You know, a handful of folks in the Bahamas. I'll say that. So I mean, use opportunities, man, to link up with each other. You know, use those opportunities, man, because like I said, you never know what I'm gonna do, man. You know, you never know. You don't centralize your leadership like that. Not that I'm a leader, because I'm not. Royal Honey Jahan's in Baltimore. Man, ain't nobody trying to be in Baltimore down there with y'all. Nobody trying to be on the corner with Avon Barksdale. No, Royal Honey Jahan, you gonna have to move. Yeah, you gonna have to move, sweetheart. Yeah. We ain't trying to be down there. No, I'm joking. Actually, even though I know you do live on the corner, because everybody I know from Baltimore, yeah, you know that show, The Corner, it was filmed right on my street, but somehow The Corner was filmed on everybody's street, even though it was about one corner. But we do actually have a lot of people between what we call the DMV area, you know. So yeah, that DC, Baltimore, and Virginia area. Yeah, we have people down there. But I don't even know if you're a student yet, Royal Honey Jaha, or a member, or if you just get in the chat room and stir up a lot of mess. Achilles asks, is anybody in Virginia? That's a good question. I know about 4 people in Virginia, but I don't remember. I don't know. You know, for me, Richmond is the center point. Yeah, but we do have people in Virginia. We do have people. I don't remember everybody who's out there, but we do have some people in Virginia. I'm seeing the cities come up, so I'm just giving y'all, you know, Raw Honey says I'm not in the city. Yes, you are. You wouldn't have said Baltimore. You in the city. Stop trying to act bougie. Stop trying to show off with Tareem. Uh, Jersey has about 2 people. Yeah, nobody want to be in Jersey, man. Jersey stinks. You know, so Justin, you have to move closer to. We got a lot of people in Philly though. I think Justin, you're in South Jersey, so you probably what, like 20 minutes from Philly. You know, Fase, yeah, we got people at Fase's in Texas. You know, Raw Honey says I just explained my position. She must be talking. She must be talking to Tareem or something. Yeah, I know she talking to one of y'all. Yeah, you like 20 minutes from Philly. Yeah, we got people in Philly. Yeah, we got a good amount of students in Philly. You know, the problem is y'all don't really like y'all are real shy about it, man. Y'all don't link up. You talking to me, Raw Honey? Nah, you wasn't talking to me. You didn't say I'll just explain my position. Nah, you wasn't talking to me like that. You know better than that. But yeah, we got a good amount of people in Philly. Let me see, Jersey. You got more? She's still going. Oh, Raw Honey, you just want my attention. That's all you want. You just want to be the teacher's pet. So you don't care if you get the attention in a positive way or a negative way. You just want the attention. All right, you got it. Now what? Now you got my attention. What you gonna do with it? Exactly. So anyway, so Achilles, so you're in Richmond. Okay. Yeah, Virginia is funny because we do have some people down there, but they're kind of spread out. I don't think we have too many people in Richmond, to be honest with you, which is kind of weird because you would think most people would be in Richmond. I have some strong people because I used to do a lot of work down in Richmond, you know. But so yeah, so we could find out. But y'all have to link up with each other, man. I can't do that for you. That's why the site is up and everything like that, so you can communicate with each other and find out who's where and who wants to link up with who and things like that. But I ain't gonna be organizing all this because, well, I don't find it interesting. So, but yeah, there are people in Philadelphia. Justin said, imagine people in Philly. But you know what? I'll tell you something, Justin and anybody else. A lot of times, the places you think most of the people will be, they're not. Like you would think most of the people will be in New York, they're not, or like L.A., like the metropolis. But it's not that. People are really spread out, and I knew, and then you have a lot of people off the continent. And Nigeria, we have a strong contingency. So anybody out in Nigeria, there's a lot of Anu folks who tune in from Nigeria. Again, we have a strong Canadian contingency as well. But yeah, it's not so much the metropolis. So you might be surprised if you live in the middle of nowhere. You might be shocked, man. It might be 3 or 4 Anu members where you live. I think this type of information and thinking and culture, it lends itself to the recluse. It lends itself to the person who may enjoy a more rural setting and things like that. So you'd be surprised. The thing is, you just got to kind of start talking to people, to get a sense of where people are at, man. Then you could start studying up on each other, as I always suggest. You can help each other out, man. But you just have to talk a little bit, man. But yeah, there's and it's way more I knew people than I know. Not that I know. Yeah, I would say that I know because there's a lot of students and meeting new people every day who've been like, yeah, I've been in your class for a year now, or this and that, or I've been listening to your segment for 4 years. I don't know, so you all could probably cover more ground than I can in terms of finding out who's near you. There's a way I could do it, but like I say, I ain't do it. But y'all are on Facebook and social media. I'm not really on social media like that. But yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of I knew I think I'm giving away all the information. Feds is over here taking notes. A lot of people, California, Texas, Canada. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we got a man in Canada. But yeah, man, I knew people all over, man. But at this point, when you're doing certain kind of things, you're doing real things. You don't really have to worry about too much intrusion because people don't. That people are not appealing. The real stuff doesn't appeal to people like that anymore, anyway. So you're almost safe. The more honest you are, it's like the safer you are. But yeah, so you all just gotta link up. That was a good question that came up there. Y'all gotta link up, man. I know people all over the place, man. Don't worry about it. Y'all are all over the place. You just have to take the time to reach out. And I know some of you have reached out to each other, and some of you are really bad with your email responses. Mama Sadaka says, I've been trying to hint in the chat room for ones to link with little to no response till now. Well, don't hint. Put it in all caps, then maybe they'll see it. People like to play the background. We should all have a meet and greet in Chief City. Yeah, you should do that. That's exactly what you should do. You should all have a meet and greet in my city. Yeah. That's a good idea, Forbes. And I'll be there. All right. Y'all wait for me. It's gonna seem like I'm not coming, but I'm coming. You just wait for me. I'll be there. All right. Yeah, you do that. But aside from that, yeah, make it a mission. Make it a mission to link up like that, or to start chapters in your area. As I've expressed before, where there are chapters, I will come through. Maybe not. Yeah, depending on where you're at, but I'll come through. I travel throughout the states a lot. Oh, I know Royal Honey John. I ain't paying no attention to him. But you know why I'm reading that stuff out loud? All of them little comments he's making, Royal Honey Jaha, because I want y'all to see how silly it gets. I want you to see that. I know what he's doing. You know, I know how distracting he can be. You know, we bored. No, you're bored, Forbes, because you live in nowhere, Florida. The rest of us live in places where this thing's happening. You're bored. Okay? I know you bored anytime the sun ain't out because he praises the sun. If the sun ain't out, he ain't got nothing to do. Don't worry, Lord Sun will be out in another couple hours. You know, he lives in Miami. How you gonna be bored in Miami? Unless he's probably been banned from every club in Miami for coming in with that weird stuff. So anyway, yeah, y'all link it up, man. I'm about to close this show down, so you're not gonna be able to discuss this in the chat anymore. But like I said, I'm sure all of y'all are on social media or something like that. I guess I'm not on it, so I don't know. I know Raw Honey Jaha is on Twitter, but she got about 4 or 5 different names. I think she's in witness protection, so she might be hard to find. And a lot of y'all switch up your names a lot, man. I understand that, man. You must be either you're on the run, you're on the lam, that's possible, or you're in witness protection. It's one of the two of them, and you're using all this conscious information to try to reinvent yourself. All right, so listen, I'm gonna head out, and I will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. You know, and yeah, Nicole, the word blessed means blood. So have a blood one, y'all. That's what she just said. Have a blood one. You know, so Lo got warrants. Oh man, you get them in warrants. We all got warrants somewhere. You know. Statute of limitations, my brother. Yeah, with the Anu app, you actually can link for those of you on Android. And you know, the Apple one is a little late because we had to do some tinkering around, you know, but yeah, I need to study more. No, don't worry about it. Well, no, why are you saying oh no, Nicole? Just because it's blood. It's okay. Blood is good. You just gotta learn about what blood is. That's all. I was just hipping you to something. I wasn't saying that to condemn you. I was saying that to give you a little ism. I don't want to say ism. Somebody already messed that up, but leave you a little game. All right. So no, it's nothing wrong with that. All right. But all right. Until tomorrow, man. We'll get into deep overtime, right? What's the show? It was about 5 hours. All right. Peace, everyone. Enjoy your evening, and most of you should be in the bed already. Forbes, you ain't got no job. I just figured it out. You ain't got no job, and it feels good when you bathe in it. Blood. Yeah, he ain't got no job. Nope. Yeah, peace, everyone. All right. Yeah, he do. Where do you work at, Forbes? Zoo? Where you clean out the cages? Peace. I'm out.